All right, we are live here on the Assiniboia Monday Night Lights live stream. My name is Matthew DeSantis. You can find me on Twitter at the handle @FailedToMenace, and I am thrilled to be joined by not just a stable duel celebrity, but truly a horse racing and perhaps social media celebrity, Bree Mott. Bree, how are you doing, and what's going on in your world these days?
I'm so good. I feel like summer officially has kicked off, which I fully realize that we're halfway through. But for me, I feel like it's officially kicked off. I blew up a pool in the backyard so that I can be one of those, white trash in a nice neighborhood. But I don't care. It's hot out. I got to lay in there eventually. So I'm here. The focus tonight is Assiniboia Downs, and I'm pumped.
I love it. I love it. That reminds me of a story of when my stepmother hung a plastic swing off of the 100-year-old oak tree in my parents' front yard, and my dad came home and started berating her for being white trash. And it was, and she was like, I don't know, the kids like it, and she was just completely unbothered. She was like, we're leaving it up. Like,
I don't leave trash out. I don't leave broken vehicles. It's just a $45 Amazon pull-up.
I love it. I love it. Well, I already see we got a lot of people hanging out in the chat. Kevin, good to see you hanging out in the chat. Absolutely going to try to make some money tonight. J-Rock hanging out with us as well. Great to see. We got Bobby D in the chat with us tonight as well. And then Jeff, who I know has been putting in a lot of work on the card at Assiniboia. He was posting some of his big plays yesterday. Jeff's hanging out in the chat as well. Good to see him there. And obviously we got about 30 minutes until, 25, 30 minutes until the first post. And so Bree and I are just going to talk a little bit about Stable Duel, get you ready for the contest. And then once 8:30 hits, we'll start talking about live betting, handicapping. We're going to have Colin Sheehan on. Sean Patrick Nolan's going to be on. We got Keith, Each and Every Stride from Stable Duel is going to be on as well. So got a lot of people coming on today. Excited for that. But, Bree, I think one of the things that we always want to talk about, first of all, we got a free contest tonight. It's always fun to throw something into the free contest, but the $15 contest is where the real action is at because, and I want to make sure that I get all this right. If you finish in the top 5 of the $15 contest, you automatically are entered into the $1,000 winner take all Manitoba Derby contest. Is that right?
Correct. And something to note, it's a private contest. So this isn't like the typical free entry and you're still up against anyone who enters. The only people that are getting in this contest are the ones that win and you're in. So there will be 40 because I think we've done this for 5 weeks. So 5 stables per week. So only 40 players, 40 stables, win and you're in. And then it's a winner take all. So you will have your chance. And if you win 2 entries, whatever it is, you get 2 stables.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So actually now that I say that, I need to make sure I can figure that out on the tech side. But yeah, but completely private. So you're not up against anybody that enters. It's not like a free entry that like all these people are going to get in. You're only in if you won in the top 5 of the Monday Night Lights contest.
I love that. I love that kind of winning your own, a little bit like the Breeders' Cup, winning you're in and you're there. Limited competition. I know we're excited about that. And, I think those types of contests are always some of the most fun to play. Those kind of high stakes, high reward. Obviously, listen, not only can you win, listen, if you finish in the top 5 tonight, you automatically at the least are going to win $60, but the opportunity to then win $1,000, you're not going to find much better value than that, even on a pick 5 ticket. So pretty awesome. And Uncle Sully in the chat tonight as well. And Uncle Sully, they have a massive pick 5 carryover going down tonight up there. So we will absolutely be giving out a pick 5 ticket when we get to race number 3 on the card up there at Assiniboia. Tim hanging out as well. Riders Up, always a great Stable Duel player and a great guy. So good to see Tim here in the chat with us as well. Bree, I know you and I are still, recovering from the fact we've not seen Mia Bear return to the track since, I know, very sad, very, very sad. But it's funny, a new year at Assiniboia, and there's all sorts of new faces up there and new horses and new actions. So it's been a lot of fun. And I don't know, last year, I know you were hosting these weekly. I don't know how much you've been following the races this year and some of the trends and things that have been taking place.
I actually was going to come in and say, so what did I miss, guys? Like, what do I need to know? So no, I have not been following too closely. I know Whitehall is above and beyond the top jockey right now. So,
well, it's funny you say that because he was at 21%. He was at 30%
okay.
3 weeks ago. And ever since then, he has really gone on a slump, and he's all the way down to 18%. So he's really dropped precipitously. Yeah. So
but he's still up top though, but I guess that could be because of starts though.
The start was just overwhelming. And so he still is the meet leading rider by, I think, 3 wins. I think he's got 20 and Carreno's got 17. Carreno's starting to heat up. And it's interesting. I talked to Sean about this a little bit, and it seems like what's happened is a lot of the barns that Whitehall rides for are kind of these barns that really get them ready first time out. And some of the barns that Carreno rides for kind of let them to ride into shape. And then Tim brings up a great point, who the surprise jockey of this meet has been Demario Bino, who has just been a revelation. And he's been winning at a high rate. And on top of that, he's been bringing home bombs. So he's been a really interesting jockey to use. And you can always feel like at least one time a night, he's going to bring home a horse that's 8-1 or higher. It feels like. So he's been great.
It sounds like for stable duel players that needs to be a jockey that you can look for on some longer shots of 8-1's up. So $3,000 and below, look for that guy. Absolutely. And we're starting to see some of the, Jerry Gorno's barn is really starting to heat up. And Marvin Buffalo, who doesn't enter a lot of horses, but is winning at a really high rate. Mike Taphorn, the trainer as well. I think Mike Taphorn, I want to say, is winning at a 44% clip. Yeah. He's only, entered, I think, 14 horses or so. He hasn't entered that many, but winning at a really high clip. And the crazy thing about Assiniboia, I think, this year is how much the track varies from week to week in terms of speed bias versus closing bias. And that we see, some weeks it's like you just want to get out on the front end and go, and other weeks you really need to, it really opens up to closers. So it's been a wide open meet this year, so it's been a lot of fun, and the dog apparently appreciates the meet too. So we got is that the little one? She's her and her diaper just sitting here ready to go.
I love it.
Old dogs. We were talking about old dogs a little while ago. Yep, she's just sitting here ready.
I got a 17-year-old one downstairs who's as blind as a bat, and but just goes frolicking around outside. And the other day, she's running around, and she's still in great health. That's the thing. She's blind, but she's got great, she's running around, she jumps around, she eats all her food, she's in super good health. But she's blind and she's running around outside, and I wasn't paying attention for a second. And thank God at the last second I look up because she was about to run into a street sign, and just head on. I'm like, no, Gary, and I'm pulling her around.
Turn around.
I'm like, no, sweetie. So we avoided catastrophe there, but shout out to the old dogs out there. So, and then Tim brings up a great point here, which is the number 1 post. I'm just gonna say it. It might be haunted.
I'm just going to throw this out there, guys. I'm just going
to throw it out there. It might very well be haunted because I have never seen more horses get fractious, get scratched from the number 1 gate than I have this meet at Assiniboia. There was one night where legitimately 3 horses from the number 1 post scratched. Were like vet scratches. They got into the post, reared up, and turned over in some cases, or just hurt themselves or something like that, and not in a bad they were all fine, but and then one time a horse actually broke through the starting gate and then leaped over into the infield from the number 1 post. Another time a horse came out of the number 1.
I remember you telling me about that. I think
and went the wrong way. And after dropping its rider and then just ran the opposite direction.
One post is out.
Don't use the 1 post is what I'm telling you. So good to see my man Joe Palmenteri hanging out down on Central Florida. By the way, that's where El Hombre is this week. He's down with the family vacationing, so he's not going to be able to join us, but we got plenty of other folks coming in. But appreciate everybody tuning in here on the chat. Make sure to press that like button as well. we got a little bit of time until first post. And so, speaking of that number one post, in the very first race, there's a horse just for Charlotte, who is the morning line favorite in the number one hole. And that feels like a horse that I am going to very much so try to beat in this particular race. And so this is a race right off the bat that I'm kind of targeting some bigger prices from, or lesser prices, I guess you could say, from a stable duel standpoint, mainly because the number one horse just for Charlotte, Jennifer Jordan, 0 for 26 as a trainer. The jockey is also over 26 this meet. So I'm not going to be using that horse at all. I do think the three horses that are all coming out of maidens claiming races are dangerous. Sassy Stormin, Going Gorgeous, and All Terrain Jane. I think all three of those are really good uses, a much better use of funds in stable duel. And then in the second race, we got a 2-year-old 4.5 furlong sprint. I mean, who doesn't love some 2-year-old races up at Assiniboia? So that's going to be a lot of fun too. And I kind of like some prices in that one. I like the 5 Mobile Creek and the 6 Matrix Mechanics. So you can get those for $6,000 and $1,000 respectively in your stable. So
who was the last one you said? Race 5 Matrix.
Race 2, the number 5. The number 5 is Mobile Creek, and then the number 6 is Matrix Mechanics. And I like both of them. Yep. So. Yeah.
Interesting. So Shelley Brown, I think last year was a trainer we talked about all the time of saying, this is a trainer you should take a look at, and just hasn't come out of the gate as hot as we remember last year. So I might be favoring the Shelley Browns.
Yeah, Shelley's been very hit or miss. And honestly, the hottest trainers, Taphorn's been hot, obviously, but Lisa Pruitt's been really hot. And then Tom Gardapi Jr. has been, very solid as always. And then Gorno really, like, the amazing thing about Gorno is he started the meet like 0 for 15. Like, none of his horses even hit the board. And like, it was just like horrendously cold. And then all of a sudden, it's like they all just needed a race. And then ever since then, he's been just absolutely lights out as a trainer. So that's obviously another one to take a look at there. Yeah, I don't have. Joey asked a good question. I don't have a stat on the Whitehall over the last couple of weeks. I will tell you, just statistically, it has to be around 10% because he's gone from 30 to 18. So just doing very quick math off the top of my head, that's roughly about the same amount of time that it took him to get up to 30. That he's gone down to 18. So I'd imagine, probably a little less than 10% over the last couple of weeks. A lot of second places, but just not winning. Colin also has to mention All Terrain Jane in the first race is forever a epic horse because this was the sleepy time pick that Colin made 2 weeks ago, where the late race, Colin always gives a sleepy time pick as a horse that he thinks looks sleepy and therefore you shouldn't bet on. And he said All Terrain Jane looks sleepy, and then All Terrain Jane went out and won the race. So sleepy time picks not doing well the last 2 weeks. And by not doing well, I mean they're winning. Which is not what the sleepy time pick is supposed to do. So always a lot of fun. Jessica's diving into some pedigree here, which is what she does. The dam in the 5 in race 2 as a half to 2 other debut winners. Yep. And the 6. That's why those were my top 2 plays. I was channeling Jessica and using my pedigree perspective on all of that.
I think this is a valid question. So the people that bring out the pedigree knowledge, where are you going? Are you just on Equibase and you click on the dam, or you click on, where are you going to find that knowledge in case people wanted to dive deeper?
Great, phenomenal question. I'm glad you asked. I use DRF Formulator. So when I go to DRF and when you use DRF Formulator, you're able, and you can get, by the way, you can get free PPs for Assiniboia on Monday nights through DRF. And I use DRF Formulator, you can click on the dam and the sire, and you can dig into first out statistics. You can dig into siblings. You can dig into, family trees and things like that. So it makes it very, very easy to do that kind of pedigree analysis. But I always use DRF Formulator for that sort of stuff.
Do you do that every single horse, every single race? Or do you, especially the 2-year-olds, like brand new, like how deep and how often do you go? I think sometimes, especially for newbies, it's so intimidating because somebody's like, oh yeah, no, I look at the dam, I look three, but do you do that for every horse, every race, or it's just like 2-year-old maiden first time out, I'm just interested and I click on the extra link?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I use them first time out. Like anytime you see like debut horses, I always want to look at first out statistics. I will look at like, lightly raced horses, maybe that are still in the maiden ranks just to see like, does this dam produce winners, or, are there multiple horses that are still waiting to break their maiden that she's given birth to, etc. Things like that. So maiden races is where I primarily look at it. And then this is not necessarily applicable to Assiniboia, although a little bit. But I will look if there's a surface change. So if a horse is trying a new surface for the first time, then I'll also go in and go, wait a second, is there pedigree to suggest that this is actually going to work? And sometimes that's actually been the case up here, where there's horses that have been running on the all-weather synthetic at Woodbine or at Turf Bay or at Turf Paradise, or not Turf Paradise, but at Turfway or at Golden Gate. And so I want to kind of see, well, how are they going to do on dirt? And look at that. So those, but yeah, I don't dig into like the third dam, and I don't like do total deep dives. Like I don't go into like the third dam and things like that. Like I just look at the immediate family. Like I look at the sire, I look at the dam. I might look at like the second dam if the dam is unraced or something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't dive too deep on some of this stuff. Yeah. And then, Jessica did a whole video on this. And so if you're on the channel, you should totally watch the video, because Jessica is actually a lot better at this than I am. And so you should listen to her rather than me blathering on about this stuff. So, Bree, what all is going on in Stable Duel? Because I think, aside from Assiniboia, there's a lot happening with all the standard breds and the harness racing and what all is going on with Stable Duel this summer.
Yeah, so we've got some loose ends at the moment that could be very, very exciting. So hopefully I'll have some big, exciting news to drop, which could mean massive pools, some additional tracks, et cetera, et cetera. We have another big round of updates coming that will be all packaged together. We've kind of been, if you've been along the Stable Duel ride, which I know Matthew has, and a lot of you that are listening in, we've been throwing out updates here and there. We're going to have one big update coming, which is going to change the game a little bit. So just heads up to everybody. It has been a big decision, and we think it's going to be great. But we're also going to have some final updates to the app that's really exciting on the tech side. And, we believe that it's the best game in horse racing, and it's only going to get better with these round of updates. And so outside of that, we are looking at launching in other countries and have been working hard at that as well. So hopefully there will be an international Stable Duel base that we will be doing these live streams and talking about Ascot with actual Brits and
I love it.
Stuff in South America and so on and so forth. So lots of things happening, but we're excited, and we thank everybody for their support along the way. And we're still trying to get Saratoga. I know people are asking. It is a huge thorn in my side. But we are very much hoping to get Saratoga and offer it in the app. We obviously love Naira and Saratoga, and we just would love to offer it. So, and if anybody doesn't know, if you are a good player of Stable Duel and you're on the leaderboard, we have a Stable Duel box that we offer to certain tiers. So the more you play, the more you win. Understand that, and we have a Saratoga box to certain players.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will. One of the things I'll say about Stable Duel that I've always loved, and I've been along with the journey for a while now, is that I love the entrepreneurial way that you all approach things, where you try stuff, and if it doesn't work, it's okay. Like, we'll try something else then next time. And I wish more people did that. Because I think you can't be afraid to make mistakes or try something new. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, and we move on. But I will just say the updates that you have made all to this point on the app have been just spectacular. So can't wait to see the continued updates there and how we can continue to evolve and grow the game. So appreciate everybody here in the chat. And what I'll say is we got 8 minutes until the stables lock. And as of right now, we have 243 people in the free game, and we have 56 people in the $15 game. So listen, get in that $15 game, folks, because there's just a lot less competition, obviously. And the payouts go a lot deeper.
A lot more money.
Yeah, top 12 all pay out, and winning prize is $150. And like we said earlier, if you finish in the top 5, you are automatically entered into an invite-only $1,000 winner-take-all game on the Manitoba Derby Day. So that's going to be a lot of fun to play that. So yeah, so we're getting close here to post time for post number 1, and what I will say is the odds have changed a little bit here in that the number 2 horse is now your current favorite. Sassy Stormin is currently at 8-5 odds, with the number 1 horse Just for Charlotte at 2-1. Everyone else is at 5-1. So the board is pretty, just kind of, I guess, even for the 3, 4, and 5 horse, all being kind of the same price. I did see Charles B asked who gets the lead in race number 1. I look at Timeform US pace figures, and based on that, the number 2 should get the lead in that race. I also think the 2 breaking from further inside is going to have more motivation to go, whereas the 5 is going to be breaking from the far outside and can kind of sit off the flank of the 2 if necessary, and doesn't need to get to the lead maybe quite as much. So I'd imagine the 2 is going to get in there, and the 2 is certainly getting bet. Like it's, kind of a sure thing. And what I will say is the 2 had by far and away the best effort last time out. Came off the bench and ran a huge race for Tiffany Husbands. And this is with the aforementioned Antonio Whitehall aboard. So maybe Antonio can get back into winning ways in the first race and kind of kick things off. And one of the things we'll obviously also continue to pay attention to all night is how the track plays, because that's something that varies, like I said, week to week, and sometimes, minute to minute, it feels like, and race to race, because one of the things we've noticed is jockeys early on were realizing that early speed was a killer, and then everybody wanted to get up on those speed. And then when everybody decided to go like quarter horse it out of the gate, then suddenly the closers all started winning all the races. So, there's been an action reaction sort of thing as well. So a lot of fun there. But Bree, now what else? You got a lot else going on this summer. Now you're going to be, you're going to be traveling around to different tracks this summer. Are you going to be promoting Stable Duel, in person at different things like you did at the steeplechase races or anything like that?
I know, I was going on a steeplechase bender for quite a while, and then been super quiet for rehab. That's a joke, so relax. But so we're coming out for a harness bender soon. So I am really excited. I'm going to go to actually my second harness race ever, because Vernon Downs was my first horse race and my first harness race in middle school. So we're going to hit. They call it, and Kevin is on here. So Kevin, you correct me if I'm wrong. We're going to get him on a live stream because I think he's very good at what he does on harness side. But we're going to go to the Adios Day at the Meadows, and that is the 29th of July. So I'll be there both the 28th and the 29th. So harness racing, in case anybody's in the Pennsylvania area. And I think I forget what it's called. Where is it? I forget. It's like Winchester or
Westchester.
Manchester. What is it?
Westchester?
Maybe.
Okay.
Somewhere in Pennsylvania. Anyway, somewhere in Pennsylvania. So there. So we're going to be hitting the tables afterwards. It's going to be super fun. Matthew knows. Charlestown is our first meeting. So
yes.
Then after that, I'll hit up another one in August. But I'll be in Saratoga for a little while for sure. And just bouncing around, I guess.
I love it.
I mean, really, we should be talking about you, though.
I don't know about that. That feels very unnecessary. And so obviously, if people don't know, this is actually going to be my last Monday night hosting Monday Night Lights with Trust the Profits, because I've accepted a position as content producer at Naira and Naira Bets. And I will thank you very much. And I will be moving up to Saratoga here next week, actually, to start covering races for Naira and Naira Bets and doing content for them. So Colin and El Hombre and Jessica and Mike Pellerin and everyone else on the channel is going to kind of cover for me and take care of hosting these every Monday night. We're still going to have them every Monday night, so people need to keep tuning in. And I'll just be trolling along in the chats with everybody else. And that's going to be a lot of fun too. So so a lot of big changes obviously going on in my life, but I'll be up at Saratoga, obviously, basically from next Wednesday through the entire meet. So if anybody's up there at Saratoga, hit me up on Twitter, and we'll make sure to meet up at the track and say hey. So I'd love to see people, and hopefully we can one of these days, Bree. One of these days, we're gonna get Saratoga, and when it happens, it'll be glorious. And
Yeah,
so
it will. It will. But I'll be up there, and I know a lot of people will be up there. It's a very electric. I mean, you've been before. To be there the whole meet, I think, is a whole different experience, and it's so fun. I got to do it one year.
Okay. And by the way, thank you for all the congratulations in the chat from Frank, from Jess, from Right at the Wire, from Uncle Sully. Really appreciate it. And Todd, I will absolutely continue I might try to figure out a way to get the cross country pick 5 into Assiniboia somehow with Naira. I mean, because and the folks at Naira are great. They're like, hey, we want to promote other tracks too. Like, it's not just about New York. And so we're absolutely going to continue to throw Assiniboia a bone because I love this track. So that's not going anywhere. So, me and Sarah El Badwi together again. It's great that have somebody in the room, so to speak, up there already that I know. So that'll be nice. But we are getting close to race number 1, and I think those stables are about to lock. So make sure if you're playing to get that stable all locked up for tonight's contest, and make sure to get that entered. And so we got couple minutes here till first post. 50 people in the chat right now. Thank you so much. Make sure to press that like and subscribe button here on Trust the Profits. And obviously you see here Just for Charlotte now back down to the favorite right at its morning line price, actually of 8-5. And then you see Sassy Stormin at 2-1. And then again, you see the other 3 at 9-2. I do think the 4 and 5 provide a little bit nicer value there. I think the 5 in particular, All Terrain Jane, is a horse that won at 6 furlongs last time out. Going Gorgeous won at 5.5 last time out, but it looked like she was winning easily. So, and Lisa Pruitt's a barn that's been winning at a 21% clip. She's got Carreno, who's been a hot jockey up there as well. So I think that if you're looking for a little bit of value to try to beat the favorites, I think the 4 and 5. I will say in my early pick 3 that I played, I went 2-4-5 this leg. And I just faded the 1 and 3, who were the 2 morning line favorites, as trying to find a little bit of value. Although 2's really getting bet down a little bit. So we'll see what it ultimately goes off at. But listen, let us know. Drop in the comments your stable duel name so we can follow you tonight on the contest. We'd love to be able to follow everybody in the chat. It's always great. Even if I don't win, it's great to see other people winning. The people in the chat winning. I think one week we had like 3 of the top 8 people in the chat. So it was awesome
that makes us losing better, because as long as somebody won, makes us feel better. I got $10 on the 4 here. So I'm going. All right. I'm going with Carreno and Pruitt. So
I like it. All right. So Breeze on the 4. I like it. I see a lot of love for the 4 here. Charles Lockerman's dropping the 4 as well. Todd's playing a 1-2-3 exacta and Tribox. Let us know. Drop in the comment as well. How are you playing this race? I know Kurt and Stretch both like the 1 and 3 up top here. I just, again, maybe playing against streaks is not a good idea, but until Jennifer Jordan wins a race at this meet, it's hard for me to bet her horse when she's over 26. She needs to get off the schneid. And then once she gets off the schneid, then maybe I'll start betting her horses. But I just, at a low price, I just can't justify using the 1 in this case, who's a nice horse, but also lost, let's be honest, by 9.5 lengths last time out. Now there's a minor class drop from a claiming 10 basically down to a claiming 75, and she was running against the boys. But when you look at what she did against the girls last time out here 2 out ago, she still lost by a length and a half or a length and 3/4. So
Matthew, the reality is this horse is taken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, just can't get a win on the board. And so to me, 8-5 morning line, I don't know what it is now. It was 2-1.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, the horse can't seem to get a win, drop down, dropped up, drop down. I'm good. I'd rather shoot for a little bit of value, which is now currently 5-1 on the 4. If we get beat by the 1.
Yeah.
Never.
By the way, we got to give a shout out to Shoddy, who is hanging out in the chat. Always a big fan. And most importantly, Shoddy, I know, is at Foghorn's Bar tonight in Arkansas. And there's always the Foghorns Pick 4 ticket, which is when she gets the whole bar together to pick a Pick 4 ticket for Assiniboia Downs. So we cannot wait. Make sure to stay tuned for the Foghorn Pick 4 ticket, which is always a highlight of my night personally. And always a lot of fun when she's playing along. And she even puts us up on the big screen up at the bar as well. And so it's I can just imagine a bunch of people in Arkansas being like, why are we watching these people talk about a horse race in Canada? But God bless Shotty. She's trying to spread the love, one patron at a time there. So see a lot of other people tuning in right now. Basil Faulty, my man, tuning in tonight as well. J-Rock is going 4-3-1 exacta box. So love to see, people dropping their bets into the comments as we're getting there closer to post. But the one still Just for Charlotte 8-5, the 2 Sassy Storm at 9-5, and then again 3, 4, and 5. I don't know. It feels like they're a coupled entry between these three because their prices have been exactly the same the entire time I've been watching this. So they're all 5-1. But
so I want to know. So we obviously get to watch the stream now on this, but you might be watching on your ADW or on your television. If 3, 4, and 5 are the same, which one off of looks would you be picking up? Because actually, in my opinion, I would sort of fade the 4 off of looks, but of course I'm going, I don't know. I think the 5 looks ready to go. I think the 3 looks ready to go as well. Which off of looks, 3, 4, 5, I want to hear what people would say.
Interesting. Let people, let's see. Because we do have some people who are really good physical handicappers in the chat. So let's hear where you to go with this. I will say All-Terrain Jane, it's interesting. She was a horse that really did. I mean, I joked about Colin, and it was funny when he was like, that horse looks asleep. And then the horse went out and won. But I will say that's a horse that kind of puffed up a little bit on the track. That she was kind of like in the paddock and was kind of like just standing still for like 10 minutes straight. Where you're like, is she okay? Like, is she awake? Like, what's going on? And then she got out on the track and it was like, and she just started like, kind of trotting her stuff. And it's like, okay, cool. So I see Lawrence is on the 3. Listen, the 3, the 3 could very well win. Last time out was not particularly impressive. And that's a concern that I have with that one. The previous 2 races were solid. And some of those speed figures are good. But again, you're looking at horses 1 for 16 lifetime. And I guess my logic is I'm just going to go with horses that have fewer tries and that maybe just broke through in a win as the 2, 4, and 5 all won last time out. And so my logic is maybe, these horses start to get on a little bit of a roll as well. So, we see this sometimes where a horse gets one win and then that becomes another win and another. And they start to get a little bit more confidence. And I think, in particular, the 5 is a horse that's only run 3 times in its career, or 3 times in his career, and might still not have even run its best race. So, Going Gorgeous 3rd back from the layoff, and Sassy Storm in 2nd back from the long layoff. So I think all 3 have an opportunity to continue to take a step forward in race number 1. But now we're starting to see the 3 taking a little bit more action, down to 7-2, and we'll turn things over to Kurt for the call in race number 1. Good luck, everyone, as they get them loaded in here in the first race of the night. And good luck with your stables.
Now just waiting on All-Terrain Jane to the outside. The field is set. They're at the post. And they're off.
Yep.
From the middle of the track, Living Sky shows good early speed with Sassy Stormin. Stalking her to the inside. 3 wide, All-Terrain Jane. Just a length back and then another length and a half to go in Gorgeous. And Just for Charlotte, as expected, the early trailer only 4 lengths off the lead. The opening quarter into the wind, 23-4. And it's Sassy Stormin and Living Sky battling it out. All-Terrain Jane. She makes a big, bold move, 3 wide. And she engages Living Sky. Sassy Storming falling out of it. In between horses, Just for Charlotte. starting a rally with Going Gorgeous. They hit the head of the lane, 48-2 on the outside. All Terrain Jane on the inside, Living Sky. These two nose and nose, and Just for Charlotte, she's kicking in the burners and running out of ground, but Just for Charlotte, she swoops them all, and she gets the win. Very close for second.
There you go.
Looking like Living Sky was second, and All Terrain Jane finished in third.
There you go.
So, in my opinion, and granted, we all love this sport, right?
Yeah.
If you looked at that filly, it's almost like she put her head down to get her nose in front of whoever she was passing.
Yeah.
You know, maybe that's how she runs in general, but cool moment. I think that she knew that she needed to get her butt up there and was going to pop her nose out if she could.
Yeah. Yeah. No, listen, there you go. The one gets the job done coming from off the pace. And, I will say they mentioned that it was into the wind. So I don't know if there's a lot of wind facing them on the backstretch, and that might be another reason to maybe consider horses, stalking or sitting a little further back, potentially, who might be able to draft off of some of those horses up on the front end. It does look a little windy up there at the track today. So that's something to keep in mind as well. And yeah, the locals certainly knew, as Tim Mee points out, that was one where, the one really got hammered there at the end, and 9-5, and then the 3 Living Sky, the 5 All Terrain Jane, and the number 4 Going Gorgeous, and then the 5 Sassy Stormin finishes last. But obviously that was a rather formful race in terms of the 2 morning line favorites finishing 1-2 in that. I will say Going Gorgeous, you're right, did take a lot of late money and all of a sudden went down to 5-2.
Yeah. It was like 6-1, I'm pretty sure, going into the gate. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So, I'm not mad about losing if that thing gets bet down to 5-2.
Yep, absolutely. So, big win there for Just for Charlotte, who, bounces back from, not a great effort last time out, losing by 9.5 lengths, but the class drop certainly helped. She's now going, she was running against the boys last time out, and now she's running against the girls and going from a claiming 9,300 to a claiming 75. So that certainly worked. And Jennifer Jordan gets off the schneid. First win of the meet. So now 1 for 27. So now we can start betting Jennifer Jordan again. Good for her. I mean, congratulations, seriously, to her.
Congrats, Jennifer. You need to get out of that slump.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's wrap up the particulars we hear with race number 1, as Just for Charlotte gets the win and pays $5.90 to win. Living Sky pays $4.20 to place, and All Terrain Jane pays $2.90 to show. The $1 exacta pays $11. The $1 try pays $43.05. The $1 super pays $68.75. It's actually not bad. I'm surprised they did a super in a 5-horse race. But anyway, that's actually not a bad.
Assiniboia Downs is a very giving track. We love it.
I do love it. And so that's fantastic.
So who hit? Let us know if you hit this one.
Absolutely. Yeah, let us know. I see as a couple of people already said that they hit the 1-3 exacta. So I know a couple of people hit that already, but yeah, let us know. And and the 1-1, because I dogged the horse, and I had dogged the number 1 post as well. Which I declared to be haunted at some point. So perhaps I don't have science on my side on that one.
Now we just need to get a proof of your ADW and make sure that you're not dogging horses so that you can get higher prices. Horse racing crew will come after you for that.
Trust me, that ain't happening. And so with my 20-cent early pick 3 ticket that I put together for $1.80, I'm doing okay here. So love it, Uncle Sully. Saying that the number 1 post has exercised the demons. Love that.
What do they call this when they do a seance? It's not a seance. It's a
they do the
burning stage.
The Catholic Church does the I know what you're talking about. The exorcisms. Yeah.
Well, I think you just burn sage as part of it. So.
You're talking about that. I went to a very different place. I went to the Catholic Church and exorcisms and things like that.
I don't pull the Catholics into this.
No. I'm not saying it in a negative way. I'm just saying that's.
Oh, thank God, Sean's here to bail us out of this.
I know Sean is here to bail us out. Sean, how are you doing? The number one post just won finally.
Yes.
But we were talking. The winless streak continues for Antonio Whitehall, who has just been on an epic cold streak these last 3 weeks.
Wow.
Okay,
Yeah.
but we do talk about being nerds, and so if you want to look at what his last few weeks are, just go to Equibase and you'll see in the top, at least on the desktop version, that you can change it to jockey, type in Whitehall, he'll pull up, and you can see what his results have been. He also rides a Century Mile, so obviously look at Assiniboia Downs. And he's got a lot of seconds. So I understand that he hasn't been winning.
He's been in the money, yes.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of seconditis right now, which,
Right.
keep it in your brain if you're doing exactas.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He just drew anchor for me there in the first race.
Oh, don't you know it? Yeah, he did that to me too. How are you doing, Sean? What's going on?
I'm doing fantastic. Excited for a great night at Assinobia.
Don't you know it, man? It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So
I just came in fourth and fifth, so that was not the greatest start, but hey, it's early.
I don't think you want to win the first one, because sometimes when you win the first one, you lose the rest. So lose the first and then
get
exactly.
that out of the way.
That's like I often do that in stable duel. I get the minus 20 like right out of the way, and then just come charging back,
Yeah. But if you are going to lose, it's best to lose in a 5-horse field, because you're still going to get some points even for that last place horse.
Right,
so it's not all is not lost in that regard. So
fun night ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I now have to salvage another pick 3 ticket here that we're going to put together, because that first one just busted out. But we got the maidens coming up here in the next race, the 2-year-olds, and this is always, I think, a lot of fun.
Yes.
And I'm putting together an incredibly skinny ticket. Let's see. That is a whopping $1.20 ticket for the 20 cent. Let's see. I think I can afford a $6 $1 ticket, so we're going to do that. All right. For the pick 3. So I see Frank mentioned in the comments, no El Hombre tonight. El Hombre is doing family time. He is on vacation with the family down in Florida, so he's doing that. He checked in with us today, though, and provided us some updates as well. So, so he's doing well. Sends his best to everybody. But and we're gonna have Colin on a little bit later. His kids apparently have been wreaking havoc at the house. Bree, you're not at that point of motherhood yet. Yours is still pretty chilling at stuff, I will say.
She is, but she's on the move now. So a little bit of a different ball game. She pulls herself up to things. She is crawling. So
the game changes.
Yeah, very much. And by the way, I loved your post that you made the other day, where you said you were talking about how many experiences your daughter's already had in a very short period of time. That she has been to like every single horse racing event practically that matters.
Amazing.
It's pretty incredible.
Mom of the year.
Thank you.
I think so. I'll still never forget seeing you with her at like 2 weeks old at the Breeders' Cup, and you're like, "I'm here."
That was fantastic.
I know. And so I think moms always have to explain themselves. So total thought process on this: we got 3 really good tickets, and I didn't plan on going. Obviously, like I was probably still swollen at the ankles. But 3 really good tickets, and it was like one of those moments is like we need to get out of this house. We got to get out of the house. And so the thought process was leave her with somebody or just have her attached to literally my chest the entire time. And so I'm like, what's the difference? And so she was literally attached to me. We stayed for not all the races, we stayed for like 5 or 6 races and got out of the house, and she was fine. She slept the whole time.
It was awesome.
She
very
was
cool.
smart. She bet early before she got there, so she got to just slept and
Yeah, she put all of her pick 6s in. She got them all in. She's like, I just don't want to know until the day is over. I'm like, all right, I won't tell you.
I love it. So we got a lot of people are excited about this upcoming race.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Hey,
this is the juvenile race, and
and
then we got swag to give away too. Bree, talk to me about it. You got the T-shirt, right?
So
Love
I
it.
do have the t-shirt. I have other things. So if somebody wins whatever we're doing tonight and they would rather have a hat, or I think I've got like a gray or a black t-shirt, but awesome swag from Assiniboia Downs. And let me tell you, you can't get this anywhere. Okay. I don't even think you can buy this. So
I really don't think you can either.
no,
Uh,
we're just going to win it here on Trusted Profits. What do we want to do? Do we want to do race 3 or 4?
We're gonna do race. You know something? We're gonna do race. I'm looking ahead. We're gonna do race 4.
Right?
Yeah, we're gonna do race 4 because that picks off the guaranteed pick 4, the $50,000
Yep.
guaranteed pick 4.
Love it.
So let's do that. And we'll do what we always do, where you got to pick a winner, and then we'll do the Wheel of Destiny to figure out who actually gets the thing. So we'll do that in race number 4. So you got to stick around race number 4 and give us your pick then leading up before that race, and we'll try to keep everything in place there. And I know I'll have Colin helping out by then, and Keith will be on by then, so we'll have plenty of assistance and doing all that good stuff. So yeah, so listen, Sean, where are you looking in this? Did I don't know how you feel about handicapping these 2-year-old juvenile races, but did you look at this one, and did you use any horses in Stable Duel, or did you look at this one pari-mutually?
Yeah, I used, okay, Antonio, this is your chance of redemption. This is your chance of redemption, for sure. I have a general rule, Matt, right? And I heard you actually say it on your preview, right?
Yeah.
Right? I do not bet first timers on the rail. I don't care if they're 9 to 5, 4 to 5. I just don't like.
I hate it.
The best workouts. I don't like first timers on the rail. If you do that 10 times over, you will lose money every single time. So I said I'll watch them next time. Exactly. And I just went with Mobile Creek. I thought the workouts were solid. Michael Nault out of Kentucky Bear, out of Mobile, both are very good up north. Very solid workouts, which I like to see. Draws the middle, which I think will be good for the 2-year-old kind of outside middle. And I just thought he was the value. And obviously, right now I think it was like 5-2 or something. So someone's agreeing with us here somewhere. But I think he was definitely, for me, the play. That's the only horse I used.
Yeah, the 5 made a lot of sense to me as well, and was one I really liked in this spot for the reasons you outlined. And we should mention, the trainer of the number 1, Commando's Last Dance, Michael Nault, is the same trainer as the number 5. So Nault is a trainer that does have a lot of success in first starts. Limited numbers, but 43% first-time starters. Yeah, 38% for 2-year-old races, positive ROIs. So, I mean, there's a lot to like there. My thought was kind of the same as yours. I don't like a first-timer on the rail, but if I can get that same trainer with that same angle with another horse that's a little bit more of a price with Antonio aboard, I'll take that one instead. So that's why I do like the 5 quite a bit. And then the 6, Matrix Mechanic, was a little bit more of a pedigree play for me. That one has a full sibling that was a first-time winner and a debut winner as well. So I thought from a pedigree standpoint, there was some precocity there to suggest this one could fire first time out. I do always worry with that far outside post position. If a horse breaks out, because that happens sometimes with first timers where they break out.
So many times they see that open air and whoop.
And they just run towards where there's nobody. And it's like, and they just lose a lot of lengths doing that. So that is my kind of one concern in this race. So, but let us know where you're going in this one. And let us know how you're betting this one as well and who you got in Stable Duel. So we got to see. We'll get see when the Stable Duel entries start to update. And they already have updated. And I am in 133rd place in the free game. So I'm not doing great, folks. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
So we talk about updates, and we talk about. I thank you for the entrepreneur shout out. One of the things that we have done recently is we have switched to a different file that is sent from tracks for results. So we're hoping that speeds up results a little bit more. So yeah, I don't know. Let us know.
Absolutely. And what I will say is, if those files can make it up from South Florida, that would be amazing. Gulfstream Park is easily, and I know it's not you guys. That's the thing, is I know it's not you all. Gulfstream Park takes forever to post their stuff on any file. And that's on them. That's not on Stable Duel. So, and I was trying to
we
classify
think that there has been some chats, and we're thankful for people working with us. And
that's good.
That's going to be
that's good to hear.
They still use flying pigeons. Exactly. Exactly. To send it over. Exactly.
Yeah, just send it over that way. It always cracks me up where I'm just like, hey, Bree, like
so
the last
brutal,
4 races are still pending.
And Pegasus Day is the worst, right? Like we had a $40,000 game that a lot of people came for the first time, and they're like, this app, like you guys take too long. And I'm like, it's not.
Meanwhile, yeah, if you're playing like the Mahoning Valley contest, it's like updated instantly, and you're like, well, if you're playing that one, I don't know, it works nicely.
Parks is great. Parks is super fast. Yeah. Just stop playing these top tier tracks. Like play Parks, play Assiniboia Downs, play these tracks that we are pushing.
Absolutely, and it's great to obviously play not just on Stable Duel but pari-mutually as well. And so I think that's one of the things that, as I've gotten more and more into Stable Duel, I'll be honest, I bet these tracks pari-mutually a lot more than I would have otherwise, because for Stable Duel, I have to look at the entire card, and then I start to go, well, I'll play this pick 5 sequence. I'll play this pick 4 sequence. I'll play a pick 3. So it's makes it a lot more fun. But I did see a comment or question up here. And Joe asked about the number 2 and why the number 2 is getting the apprentice jockey instead of Carreno, who is usually Jared Brown's number 1 jockey. And that is interesting. I don't know if this is, because this apprentice just does have a couple of other rides throughout the evening. That'll be interesting. I actually kind of like the one horse he's on later in the card. Yeah, that's interesting that Jared's not up on or the Carreno's not up on this one, because that usually is his go-to guy.
One weird stat about Assiniboia, which I've never seen this. An agent can have 4 jockeys, which is really strange.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
the switches up there are much more common than the average track, especially when the guy's got like 4 jockeys, Yeah. He may switch them around. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And, obviously in a colony like Assiniboia, where you get a lot of small fields, it's tough for an apprentice jockey to really get in and kind of make an inroad there because, Demario Bino, Antonio Whitehall, Chavian Chow, and Jorge Carreno, and, Praven Badri and, Sven Balrup, and like, these guys are established and they have their connections to all those tracks.
Sure,
those are your top 6, 7 guys. Well, most races are 6 or 7 horses at most. And so, if you're an apprentice looking for a ride, it's really hard. So I think, I wouldn't be surprised. You're right. If there was maybe some jockey agent stuff going on and going, hey, listen, let's let this kid get a ride up there. So get him some experience, but and getting him on a 2-year-old is not a bad idea as well. And putting him on one of those as well. And Jessica points out, getting a little bit of a weight break too, obviously. So there's a benefit with using the bug there as well. So we are actually getting amazingly close to post time here. We got 2 minutes to post. And
hey, Mitchell, I'm tied with you in 163rd. All right.
163rd.
Yeah.
And by the way, now it's a real party because we got Jessica joining us here. Jess, how are you doing? I'm so glad you came in for the 2-year-old race, and I love this. I feel like this was on purpose.
Yeah, I decided I'd hop in before it got too crowded up here. Take the opportunity and talk about some of these 2-year-olds real quick.
I love it. So, which ones were you most interested in?
I liked the 5 on top, but like you, I liked that full sibling to the 6. I'm a little bit worried because that full sibling is one of only 2 of Nonios's offspring to win first out. So that makes it like, well, on one hand this, but on the other hand, I thought the one was interesting. Going Commando seems to be kind of one of those like really great sires at a specific track. He reminds me of Fibersond at Charlestown. I thought there was an interesting jockey and trainer stat that I got on Thorough Manager that says that Chavian Chow leads at first call 25% of the time, and Michael Nault horses, when they're leading at first call, win 47% of the time. So I thought that was interesting that perhaps that's the horse that maybe he put that jockey on there hoping for speed.
Yeah.
So I liked both of the Nault horses. I thought were decent, and the 5 also, like the Dam was a nice little like claiming allowance horse at Woodbine, and was a half to 2 debut winners. So there's a little bit of precocity and pedigree for what we're looking at there with the 5 as well. And then the other horse that I kind of had a thought on was the 2 horse being by Speightster, who wins 14% first out and gets the Apprentice. So which generally when I see that, I think that they're looking for speed. Yeah.
No, that's a good point. And I will say it's interesting to make that point about Chow, who, by the way, Bree, if you're on and Chow wins, I mean, I don't even know. We're going to have to shut this thing down because you're going to be so excited. Exactly. That's your man. But I think that's very noteworthy because, as what Sean and I were talking about, though, that inside rail, you need to send hard from that rail a lot of times out of Assiniboia. And so having a jockey who's going to be super aggressive out of the gate, I think on a young horse is going to be very necessary there. So I always worry about those young horses in those spots, but it's good insight there. Good insight. I'm glad you were joining before this race so we could talk about it a little bit. Let us know in the chats how you're going to be betting this race as well.
Look at that. 6-1-2 and 3-5-1. There you go.
I gotta love first-time starter races.
Yeah.
So we're talking about breeding. I would love to hear Jasper's opinion, everyone's opinion. We're looking at 2-year-olds. So how heavy do you weigh when they were born? So if you're looking at, like, there's a February born horse here. So that horse has 3 months on March, April, May, what am I doing? On the maze, right? So they've got extra development, if you will. I mean, obviously we don't know too much without knowing the horse, and they came into themselves and bones, and et cetera, et cetera. But do you factor that in at all when you're looking at first-time starters? And you got to compare the two: February born, May born.
A little bit for me. It's not something that I put a whole lot of stock in. It's not like that is going to be the angle, but it's something I do notice and kind of take into account a little bit.
That's fair.
But a lot of times, I feel like this early in the season, if you have a May foal and you're racing your May foal in July, then that's probably because the horse is ready. So that's kind of also another thought that I have on it.
It's interesting, Sean. I don't know. How do you weigh that kind of birth date at all?
I do. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I find this kind of funny when Wicked Strong ran in the Derby, right? And he came in. Okay, he had a traffic trouble and was coming up and came in, I think, 4th or 5th. And what do you call it? He's born May 26th, so technically he was a 2-year-old. In terms of the birthday, which is kind of funny. But he still won the Wood and still ran, good. So I do factor that in somewhat. But I think if a horse has just got that kind of the mentality and they know what they're doing, they can definitely overcome it at that stage.
I think mine, that bird was a late May foal. That's just off the top of my head. I don't remember for sure. But
I know a lot of people pointed this out. I think Hit Show was kind of the youngest one out of this current crop that was running, if I'm not mistaken.
He was,
and I think a lot of people made that point that, well, he's only going to get better because he's still going to mature and he's still got some development going on. So
does he run back after the Derby?
Hit Show, well, yeah, he ran in the Belmont.
Yeah.
And he had a dead heat for 4th with Angel of Empire. I'm not sure where he might actually end up in the Jim Dandy. I wouldn't be surprised if he does that New York circuit because he was always kind of a New York horse for Brad Cox. So they're getting him loaded in here to the gate. 9-5 Commandos, or the number 1 Commandos Last Dance at 9-5. The number 2 is at 2-1. Everyone else is around 4-1 or higher. So we're going to turn things over to Kurt for the call. Race number 2. Good luck with everybody's bets. Let's cash some tickets.
Now just waiting on Matrix Mechanics on the outside.
Some fractiousness.
Daisy's a doozy, a little fractious in the gate.
Always fractiousness.
Matrix Mechanics getting a little help from the gate crew.
You just see a guy like pushing like all get out to try to get that
Mobile
horse.
Creek fractious in the starting gate.
This is a 2-year-old race, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
Nobody wants to get in the gate, and everybody's losing their damn minds.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yep.
Right.
Except for the one, it seems like.
Yeah, the one's just like doop doop doop.
Yeah.
You guys ready?
Everybody settled?
All right, here we go.
Matrix Mechanics now in. They're at the post. And they're off.
Oh, Nelly. There we go, 5.
Breaking like a rocket.
Antonio woke
Mobile Creek to the outside with
Sean, did you get on that
Shiver.
5? I'm gonna
Going to match stride. Settled back in third. That's going to be Daisy's a doozy. 3 lengths off of it. Mando's Last Dance. And the early trailer. Matrix Mechanics spotting them 6 lengths early. Nose for nose. It's Shiver and Mobile Creek. Daisy's a doozy. Dead aim from behind him. The quarter in 23 and 2. Shiver with a short lead on the outside. Mobile Creek now getting the better of Shiver and pulls away by a length and a half. A 16th of a mile to go.
That's
And
the
Mobile
Antonio.
Creek
There we go.
will take it. Second will go to Shiver. Very
There we
close for
go.
third
Sean.
between Daisy's a doozy and Commando's Last Dance.
There you
All
go.
right.
Redemption.
All right. It was also redemption, as that was my top pick on capping the cards. So my
Excellent.
I'm 1 for 1 on 2-year-old races at Assiniboia. I'm going to stop now and stop with a 100% winning percentage. But the that was a really good race. I mean, I thought that 2 really gave the 5 all they could handle. I thought the 3 might loom up there a little bit, but then just kind of flattened out and went really wide around the turn. But really professional effort from the 5. That was a real nice horse and one to keep an eye on as they move into stakes races up there.
And the 1 too. If he gets off the rail and into another post, like second time out, like watch him. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could
he
tell
really
he wasn't comfortable when he broke. Like he kind of didn't know where to go.
Mm-hmm.
So
he had that space to the inside of him because they left that gate open and he kind of drifted over and kind of lost himself.
Yeah, absolutely. So big win there for our guy Antonio, getting back in the winner's circle. For trainer Michael Nault, who we mentioned is excellent at getting these 2-year-olds ready. 43% first start, 38% 2-year-old races. So again, that was 4 to 1. That's a pretty nice price that you're going to get on a horse that I think a lot of us really liked in terms of that number 5. So
shocked 4 to 1.
Yeah, I'm surprised that one went off at 4 to 1 too, especially with the scratch, because there was a scratch of the number 4 in this race as well. So it's a small field, and you'd figure, especially with the maidens, it would end up, everybody did kind of end up around the same price. 4 to 1, 5 to 2, 3 to 1, 9 to 5. I mean, everybody was hovering around the same price. So, I guess Jessica, to your point, I guess. Because I also like the 6 a little bit as a value, but I guess the sire took out
there.
Yeah. So,
and I think it was also a different trainer.
But there's your point again too, Matt. When you said right, he kind of went a little bit right, like out of the gate, like with nobody to his right, he went out the wrong way. It'd be interesting to see what maybe you put him in a couple of horses, maybe breaks out straighter. The second time.
Yeah. And Shelley Brown is not really known for getting them ready first time out. And so, that's one where, second, third time out is probably going to be a little bit more effective. And, we'll just have to, wait and see with that one. But it's always fun, I think, to track these 2-year-olds as they progress at Assiniboia throughout the meet. And, you can imagine that the number 5 is Mobile Creek is probably going to end up in a stakes race here the next time out, because they have those 2-year-old stakes races pretty early in the season at Assiniboia. So that should be a lot of fun. And just a reminder, we are giving away swag tonight before race 4. We are going to do, and Bree's modeling it. She's got the t-shirt up. She's got the Assiniboia Downs t-shirt. We're going to be giving away. And so what we're going to do before race 4, we're going to ask you to give out a winner and then we are going to make sure to do the Wheel of Destiny. Whichever horse wins, we'll kind of figure out who picked that horse, and then we'll do a spinning wheel to see who gets the actual swag. So going to be a lot of fun there. To put a button on race number 2, Mobile Creek gets the win, pays $10.80. Shiver finishes second, pays $4.20 to place. Daisy's a doozy, pays $2.20 to show. The $1 exacta pays $22.15. The $1 try $47.45. The $1 super pays $72, and the $1 daily double pays $15.70.
Nice.
So yeah, that's not bad at all, considering it was chalk in the first race.
Yeah.
So there we go. And now we're moving in on that big Pick 5 carryover, if I'm not mistaken, that they have tonight.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Very exciting.
Jessica, since you weren't on earlier, I thought I'd ask you, is there a horse that you're looking forward to seeing race tonight? Is there kind of a horse that you thought was a best bet or a really good value play, or the one you were targeting in the stable duel?
In stable duel, there was one. Give me 1 second to pull it up and remember who it was. Oh, I like the 7 in race 4. I thought that horse was interesting as kind of a that was the back class type of play.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I thought that horse was interesting in there. It was a tough race to really get a feel for, and I thought that the 12-1 morning line made him a good stable duel type of horse.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was in the last race, the favorite I think looks tough, but I thought that the 8 was actually kind of interesting despite coming in off of a $5,000 claimer and didn't even win that race. But in Thorough Manager, which is one of the programs that I use, he's actually the second rated horse in that race.
Wow.
And I thought that was interesting, and an interesting just discrepancy between the price and the projected speed rating that Thorough Manager has for it. So I thought that was a interesting horse there.
I like that. And we've seen obviously a lot of success for these, horses coming in from other tracks. And so this is a horse that was coming in from Sam Houston and Lone Star and Remington Park before. So, and Jerry Gorno, we talked about leading trainer at this meet. So, pretty great. And if I'm not mistaken, we got one other person on the stream now, and that is our own Colin Sheehan. Colin, sadly, All-Terrain Jane might have just been sleepy earlier in the night as she didn't get the win there in the first race, but glad to see, speaking of sleeping, that you got the kids to sleep and you're able to join us now. So this is good.
We do, which is always a wild card. You never know how that's going to go. Every night is like it's like a maiden claimer for $5,000 with 3 first-time starters and a couple of horses that have been racing for a long time without the victory. But tonight was a good one.
Good.
Tonight went well, so we're good. How's everyone doing? It's great to be here. It's my favorite night of the week.
I love
favorite time of the week. Glad to see Bree. Haven't seen Bree in a long time. What's up, Bree?
Yeah, great to have Bree.
How are you?
Jessica's becoming a regular, which is awesome. Because we got big shoes to fill. We got big
Wow.
shoes. Big,
We got gigantic
Got a lot
shoes.
to live up to.
Nonsense. Just wear a spiffy hat and just ramble for hours and you'll be fine. That's kind of all I do. So it is. But like I said, I'll be in the comments section. From now on, I'm just going to be trolling away in the comments section, making fun of El Hombre's picks or something like that. So I'll be having fun in that regard. But Colin, obviously we are we still going to do a sleepy time pick tonight after what's happened the last 2 weeks?
We will. But what's important though, right, is when you're out on horse racing Twitter and you're watching clowns like me on these shows, you got to start handicapping the handicappers, right? So the last 2 weeks, my sleepy time pick has won at really good prices. So now when the 10:30, 11 o'clock clock strikes and you start hearing me ramble about looking at horses on the television where I have no clue, but they just look sleepy to me, you got to now decide, am I going to fade Colin instead of fading the sleepy time pick? So never a situation that you like to be in. I've never felt pressure with the sleepy time pick because it was just like, I I can certainly pick a horse that's not going to win, right? I mean, I'm terrible at picking winners, but there's a field of 7. I'm sure I can find a 20-1 horse that's not going to win and say he looks sleepy. So you go 4 weeks, we're feeling good. I had a couple of 7-2s I faded. And now we got 2 back-to-back winners. And now it's like, now I've learned, right? Now, not only do you get too sleepy, you've also got to think about what we've talked about the last 2 weeks is maybe they're calm. And maybe there's a calmness that they just comes over them before they hit the track, and then they roll like All Terrain Jane, who was the first one to upset the Sleepy Time picks, who ran back. I couldn't not put All Terrain Jane in my stable in the first race, so I'll take that 3rd place, I think. And then I had Shiver in the last. I really liked that number 2, who
ran a great race.
Ran a really good race. Yeah,
and that's like the first horse, never mind 2-year-old, that actually took the turn nice and tight. I was surprised.
It did actually. You're right about that. Yeah, it was.
So that's where we're at. A lot of pressure tonight, but we'll put our Sleepy Time goggles on and we'll get it not home tonight.
All right, I love it. I absolutely love it. So we're gonna have some fun with this tonight. Obviously, we got the Pick 5 pool coming up, and it's a really big Pick 5. So make sure to consider playing that, and then we'll give out our group Pick 4 ticket as we always do. But let's move ahead to race number 3 on the card, and this is a $7,500 maiden claimer for state-bred fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, and we're going 2 turns, baby. 7.5 furlongs out of Assiniboia. Sean, I'm going to start with you. Where did you go in this race, and what was your top pick, or your stable duel play?
Yeah, well, listen, I'm going for broke here. I got 1, 4, and 7, man. This is my night in a nutshell right now. My top pick was the 1. No, it was the 4. Excuse me. Big energy. I just think. And Matt, you and I were thinking like, and look, we got Keith in the house too.
Yeah, Keith is in the house as well. Everybody's joining.
How are you?
Supporting the stable duel. I love it.
Gotta love it. Stable duel and also the Assiniboia background. So thank you for having me. Thank you.
Absolutely, Keith. Thrilled you could join. So yeah, Sean, you were going 1, 4, 7 in this one.
Yeah. Big.
I'm here to support Matt tonight.
Oh, look at this! Love it.
Nice. There you go.
Oh, I love it.
Paying homage right there.
I love it.
Where's the tie?
Well, listen, we don't need to go overboard. We got the hat. That's good enough. That's excellent.
No,
so,
but I'm like you, Matt, when you said that you and I were kind of on the same thing when I was watching the thing. I'm like, God, he and I are on the same page. The horse hasn't won yet, but he's just looked so good in his figures and everything. I just think this is the group that I think he's going to finally have a chance to beat. And I did like interesting. I thought I'd be the only person who picked Rye. The 7 20 and your long shot was because I just thought stretching out the 7 furlongs. This horse has been running 5 and 6, and he hasn't been running terrible races at value if he can stretch out, and he's got Bray's Chevy and Chow on there. If the stretch out, the distance, there are worse long shot plays, and I just thought the 1, the 7, and the horses in the middle I wasn't completely sold on. So I said these 2 would be great stable duel. I don't necessarily wouldn't bet them, what I'm saying, but I think they could get in. Like 3rd, 4th, get some points there, and I think the 4 will be very tough on top.
I love it. Bree, did you handicap this one at all? Were you looking at any horses in this race?
So I see Sean's point on Ryebred, and my heart would like to go to that horse for the stretching out and the what if, right? But I think there's just too much going on in these races speed-wise that you've got to show something. I think you got to be able to show something. And for me, the 2 that are showing something are the 4 and the 5 here. So I'm in between those 2 personally. They look pretty even. Obviously, one got 2nd, 1 got 3rd. They both came a little bit from the back. To me, the 5 dropped back and then ended coming back up for 3rd. So in my mind, that horse has got some fight. But I'm undecided between those two at the moment. I do like Big Energy just for the Lizzo song personally. So
yeah, I was gonna say Big Energy just to hear Kurt's call, because Kurt loves calling Big Energy, and so it's always a lot of fun. Jessica, where did you go in this race? What were your thoughts on this one?
I ended up with the 5 as my top pick. Sort of for the reasons that Bree mentioned. I thought the 4 was one of those horses who it makes a lot of sense as like a stable duel pick. I feel like that's the horse who's most likely to hit the board, but it's just a hard horse to really love in this spot. And for the 6 to 5 price on stable duel, I just didn't want her. But I agreed. Also, I thought the 7 was interesting. I thought that, there are a couple races there where she actually showed a little bit of very early foot and then faded. So I'm wondering if that kind of a little bit of speed stretching out angle, like Sean was saying. And then the other horse that caught my eye was the 2, just because that horse has the fewest failed attempts in the field. And kind of that thing that I tend to gravitate toward in the maiden claiming, like who hasn't learned to lose yet?
Yeah.
Which the 4, you're kind of getting to that point where you're wondering if that horse has learned to lose, because 6 for 7 lifetime on the board without a win.
Yeah.
You start to wonder.
Yeah.
About
Absolutely.
Sort of the opposite of what Bree was saying about the 5, kind of showing a little bit of will to win there and coming back on horses. You kind of starting to get the feel that maybe the 4 is the opposite, and a horse who's content to just run with her friends and hang out second or third.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is definitely.
Go ahead, you got this. You guys got it. Good job.
And Colin, where are you going in this one?
I decided I only played for Stable Duel tonight, so I handicapped just for the games, the free game and the $15 game. The $15 game is where you maybe put a little bit of extra attention into, and Big Energy was one of the ones that I've kind of built a stable around. I spent the money on this horse. I know that it likes to finish second and third, which isn't a bad thing in Stable Duel, but I think the added distance for a horse, when you read the comments that says finished well, kept coming, even rally, even finish, finished well outside, to me, that speaks to a horse that's going to want the added distance. So 7.5 furlongs is certainly much longer than this horse has been running, but that is kind of where I put my hat on. And I would also add that the speed numbers, at least from a business standpoint, extremely consistent. So I know what I'm going to get from this horse, and that's what I want when I put a horse in my stable. So for Stable Duel standpoint, I am all for, baby.
I like it. And Colin,
Nice.
Can I ask you to do something on a technical side? Can you pull up the YouTube feed and share that on StreamYard when you have a chance? As my computer sounds like it's about to take off at any moment and levitate in the air. So appreciate that. But this is, I like Big Energy a lot here. I kind of saw the same comments you were referring to, Colin. I thought this horse I think the stretch out is actually going to do this horse well. And I think going longer is going to be better. It's interesting, Jessica. I took a long look at the 2, and I remember that's a horse we all liked last time out. And we really liked Milan, Ohio quite a bit, because this was, if I'm not mistaken, on the same day that Colin posted a question on Twitter about whether or not Ohio was the Midwest. And so we thought it was kind of like destined that Milan, Ohio was going to be the winning horse. But just like Ohio is not part of the Midwest, Milan, Ohio did not win. And so that was a horse. But I remember and ran well, and I think your point is well taken, Jessica. And then, the 7 Rye Bred was one I liked quite a bit as well. So I just thought that horse maybe has a race in it. And, going off, being an allowance company before and, running against, winners previously at other tracks and then coming here to Assiniboia, and I thought, didn't run poorly last time out. So I thought that's kind of where I wanted to go in that spot as a huge long shot, at least. So, but 4 was my top pick. So, Colin, thank you for pulling up the feed. I appreciate it.
Nice.
And I definitely have to be rooting now for Rye Bred, because I have to give a shout out to my dad, who is playing his first Stable Duel contest tonight, and he's currently in 6th. He had the 3 in the first race and then
Oh.
had the exacta in the last race, and he's got the 7 in here. So at this point, my
Wow.
season is basically out anyway. So I'll be pulling for Woodville Road Stables now.
I love it.
That's
love it.
fantastic. Is he in the free contest?
Yeah.
Okay. That's great. That, by the way, 100% of dads like to play the free contest. That is true because my dad loves to play a free contest, and now we got Jessica's dad in the free contest. So that's good.
Both my mom and dad are playing tonight.
Love it.
Fantastic.
Oh man.
Yep.
Got a
I've
lot
got
of
to get my
stables
mom
in
on
there.
it. I think it would fit her handicapping style very well.
Which is what, like hitting a lot of second and thirds with long shots, or like
Yeah. We both are just like really value oriented, and
Yeah.
we're like, I can beat this favorite, and then we can't sometimes.
But it gets
So-
close, you know. It's
That's how you win, though. Yeah, it's good.
Exactly. I feel like that's been a thing I've been struggling with in stable duels. I keep trying to get a little too cute with it.
Yeah.
And not finding those horses to key in on that are just like, yeah, okay, this horse is going to win and is the most likely horse to win by open lengths. I feel like
Cody's
that's how I start.
At all times. Cody's wish, open lengths.
Right. Yeah,
Love it,
exactly.
Right.
Going to
And
be
it-
running in the Whitney.
yeah, I was just
Yeah,
gonna
I
say
heard
the
that.
news
That'll
coming
be
out.
fun.
So
Very
Check it out.
exciting.
Cool.
Yep. So very exciting to run in the Whitney. So yeah, I don't know. What's everybody's? What are the chances? Everybody thinks. Bree, I'll start with you. Do you think he can get the stretch out? You think he gets the 1.25 miles at the Whitney?
Are we talking about Cody's wish?
Yeah, Cody's wish.
I
We're not
would
talking about
never-
big energy.
I will
Oh.
never bet against that horse ever again in my life.
Yep.
Ever. I don't care. I don't care if he has to run from here to California. I will never bet against that horse ever. You got my money, kid. You got my money.
I love it. I love it. Jessica, what about you? You're the pedigree expert. So, like, I know
mean-
they've said the pedigree standpoint, like, he should be able to get it. And so,
Yeah, I mean, there's,
you know,
on that, there's no doubt.
yeah.
I mean, and I don't see why he wouldn't be able to. Yeah, he's a closer. Sometimes their kick gets compromised going a little longer, but this horse is just so consistent, and I definitely don't think 1 1/8 miles is going to be an issue for him.
Yeah. Sean, do you think he gets the distance?
Yeah, I do. And juniors, what do you call it? Kind of looking at this race the same way that they did in the Breeders' Cup Classic last year when they said his horse couldn't run that distance, even though Flightline won big. He came flying for second. You know what I'm saying? But he really thinks that. I mean, and he thinks the same thing with they. You know, some people think, can he get the 1 1/8 miles? He not only thinks he can get the 1 1/8 miles, he thinks he can win. You know, so he's kind of got that same mindset, and I definitely think he can win.
Yeah, absolutely. Keith, what about you? You going to be rooting for him and betting on him?
Oh, of course. You know, it's just such a feel-good story. And I was actually there Kentucky Derby weekend, so I got to see Cody's wish.
That's right. That's right.
I remember just opening the PPs for the first time, and I was suspecting that he was going to run. It just hit me like, wow, I'm really going to see Cody's wish. So I really think this is the potential is still there for the stretch out. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. No, for sure. It's funny, Bree, much like you, he's a horse that I vowed never to bet against again. I bet against him one time.
Yeah,
I felt like the biggest jerk in the world. I'm never betting him against him again. A little bit also like in Italian, who like I tried to beat for like 5 straight races. And then I was like, I'm just going to suck it up and single in every single sequence and just like bet her straight up. And then, she just wins. And it's like, okay.
There's always a horse that ingrains silks. Like the owner, and I'm not to say the owners don't matter, please. But the owners don't matter. It's like a horse ingrains the colors and the designs of the silks. And in Italian was that one. Like those silks have just been stuck in my brain because of that one horse.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a cool thing, my buddy Eddie Davis, who's Robbie Davis's son, he just stopped being his own trainer. He now works for Billy Mott. He gets to work out Cody's wish every day. How cool is that?
That's fantastic.
How really cool is that?
That's awesome. That's awesome. I can't even imagine. So that's just it's really great to see horses. And again, this is the argument for why it's cool to see these horses run back and come back at 4. Come back as they get older, because they get a fan base, they get a following, they get people excited about them. They take on new challenges, and very cool to see. Obviously, the story is amazing, but then Cody's Wish also just was such a great horse as well. So it's great to see that combination of story and talent.
I mean, if nobody comes up for from the 3-year-olds, he could be a front runner for Horse of the Year. Even if he doesn't go to the Classic, if he wins the Whitney and then repeats in the Dirt Mile, and all these 3-year-olds keep beating each other, and none of them win the Classic.
Yeah,
I feel like he's at this point in time like the one horse you could be like, that horse has a shot at Horse of the Year.
Definitely.
Yeah,
that would be great to see.
Yeah, that really would. So Tim Hughes is giving out his pick 5. We should just give a shout out to that.
Yeah, Tim.
And
hey, bud.
yeah, and
Nice.
so I don't.
We're gonna ride with Tim. I need to take a screenshot of this.
All right, so
Mr. Stable Duel himself, Tim Hughes.
absolutely,
Nice.
Right
Yeah,
us
he's
up.
always at the top. Yeah.
Yeah.
The legend.
I was gonna sneak in a long shot in this race if I could, just real quick.
Absolutely, please do.
Awesome. Yeah, I actually this horse caught my eye. Number 1, Jackie's Thunder.
Okay.
Now, I know it's 0 for maiden, but Carreno, is heating up, stays aboard, and I watched the replay. I've been watching a lot of Assiniboia replays to get familiar with these horses,
Fantastic.
and this horse was 4 wide last time, and I kind of like the one post for just to save ground and the route a little bit.
Sure.
And,
Yeah.
I used this horse in Stable Duel, so I just think at least to hit the board, I'm on the big energy though. I've been following this horse for since last meet, so
I know.
I've been waiting for this race, with the extra distance. So I think 4 is going to be tough.
Yeah, absolutely. No, the 4 is going to be tough. We'll see if the stretch out is what benefits this horse. They're getting him ready to load here in race number 3. I appreciate Colin operating all of this off camera. And so he's doing a great job. So Colin, if you want to turn the volume on, we'll turn things over to Kurt here for the call in race number 3. And
left to load.
good luck with everybody's bets. There we go.
No Midnight. And just waiting on Rye Bread to the outside. The field is set. They're at the post. And they're off. Breaking a bit slow was No Midnight. Milan, Ohio. Well restrained as they pass the grandstand for the first time. In the lead by a half a length in between horses. Big energy. 3 wide, Anna Kazana. 4 wide will be Rye Bread. Another length back to Jackie's Thunder and the early trailer. No Midnight. The opening quarter, 24-4. And Milan, Ohio, still with that lead by a half a length on the inside. In between horses, big energy, 3 wide. Anna Kazana, a length and a half back. That's Jackie's Thunder with Rye Bread on the outside in 5th. And No Midnight can still see them all from 6 off at the half, 50 seconds. And Milan, Ohio looked in the eye, and she responds.
Bravo. Come
in
on.
between horses, big energy, Anna Kazana. She's now making her move. 3 wide, they hit the head of the lane. 3 across the track.
Oh, come on, is this going to be the day?
Ohio on the outside, Anna Kazana, and in between horses,
Come on, 5.
big energy.
Come on, 5.
These 3, but Anna Kazana having the best stride late. Anna Kazana. She's going to win by 2.5.
There you go.
Second's going to be big energy.
Yeah,
Milan,
1 and
Ohio
7.
third.
There you go.
4th, the Jackie's
There you go.
Thunder.
Stable Duel. Love it.
Yeah. There you have it. So Anna Kazana gets the win.
Whitehall
going 2 turns.
Express.
Yeah, the Whitehall Express is back, and
Definitely.
big energy is officially,
Jacques.
yeah. I mean, just is command performance. I mean, I don't even know what the big energy just can't win. It seems like so.
Tacitus. Tacitus.
Yeah.
Right.
That was rough, and it's interesting. What I'll say is, and I think you see this from horses that are, a little bit of hangers. is
to number 4, big.
Is that, what's so interesting is Anna Kozana goes by Big Energy, who's struggling to get by Milan, Ohio. As soon as Anna Kozana gets by Big Energy, suddenly Big Energy is able to get by Milan, Ohio. And it's like, oh, Big Energy just doesn't like running past. He wants to kind of run with his friends. And she wants to, And so it's, that's a hard one to see. So hard to trust that one. So the 5 gets it done at 2-1 over Big Energy, over Milan, Ohio. And then Keith's long shot, Jackie's Thunder, does pretty well to finish 4th, 13-1, close out the Super.
Yeah, I'll take that for stable duel, 10-1 morning line. So that's pretty solid.
Absolutely.
Yeah, horses like Big Energy. Sometimes you find nice horses like that are really great to key in second in exactas.
Yeah.
There was a horse in New York called Stock Fund, who I would religiously, like, if it was a short field, I'd do all over her, or I'd pick like 4 or 5 horses and just key her in second. And I made pretty decent money doing that on her. Like, okay, here, we'll throw a $10 exacta, 5 horses, keying, because she was always favorite too, just burned money.
Yeah.
Was a cool horse. At one point in time, she was like 0 for 22 with 11 seconds and a black type placing. Over $100,000 in earnings. I mean, the kind of horse you'd love to have in your stable. Like if you were an owner, great horse.
I love it.
Yeah, there's like Hot Rod Charlie.
Yeah. Hot Rod Charlie could win in a dogfight though.
Right.
But it's interesting. There's a horse that is, and I'm blanking on the name because I was just looking at the PPs for Thursday at Saratoga. There's a horse on Thursday at Saratoga that, and I remember this horse because it broke its maiden out on its 26th attempt last time out.
Ooh,
and so was 1 for 26. But to Jessica's point, the horse has made $175,000 over its career. So like that's not that bad. I mean, you make almost $200,000 and just finally win your first race. And I'll be honest, I think she kind of fits in this next race that she's in at Saratoga. So, maybe make it 2 in a row after 0 for 25.
Sometimes, they call it the light bulb angle. Like they finally figured it out.
Yep.
Yeah, this is what I have to do. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny. I remember talking to Jessica Pfeiffer about this with the horse Macadamia, who is Phil D'Amato's horse. And she was saying, she goes, he had such a hard time figuring out how to pass horses that like they just had such a hard time training him to pass horses. And she goes, it was funny. Once Tiago Pereira got up and started exercising him in the morning, it was like Tiago like kind of figured out the horse and he started learning how to pass horses. And like next thing you know, he's a graded stakes winner. And it's just like the light bulb just kind of went on. It's like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do. You want me to pass everybody? Oh, okay, I can do that. Like, sort of a thing. So it's fun to watch horses and because they have their personalities. So
anyone who's interested in that, definitely look up Kerry Thomas's work.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely invaluable. He changed how I watch horse racing.
Absolutely. Kerry, great guy. Yeah, Kerry. Kerry Thomas, great stuff.
Thomas herding technique that he has analysis of like the past derbies since 2011. Going through the whole field and stuff, and it's very interesting. Some really insightful stuff there.
So listen, we're at race 4, which Bree means it's the giveaway. We got the giveaway coming up.
Awesome.
Swag. And we got the Assiniboia Downs T-shirt that we're going to be giving out.
Look at this.
Colin, thank you for popping up the results of race 3. But we got the Assiniboia Downs T-shirt that we're going to be giving out here. And the way we're going to do this is, I'm looking around because I realized I do not have a pen and paper. So I'm going to excuse myself.
I got it.
Okay, you got it? All right.
Oh, cool.
So somebody has a pen and paper. So in the chat, drop in who is your winning pick in race number 4. So if you put in who is your winning pick in race number 4, you will be entered into the contest. If your horse wins, we'll do a little spinning wheel of destiny to figure out who actually gets the win from those who select the winner in race number 4. But let us know. I see Todd is on the 5. He just dropped that in there. So the number 5, Arrogance, is his top selection. So This is a $5,000 claimer, non-winners of 2 lifetime. That's coming up, and that's 7 furlongs. So that is the race that we're going to be doing the giveaway for. We have Bill Derby with the 4. We got Right at the Wire with the number 7, Unusual Count. Cyrus Tome is at the 5. I see Frank is going with, I believe, the 5 as well. And Shadi is still torn, so she's going with the 2. Okay. Russ is going with the 4. Uncle Sully's going with the 5. And Mitchell is going with the 4. So we got people dropping it in. Dan is going with the 2. So appreciate everybody putting that in the comments. Charles B is going on the 6. So yeah. So listen, if we drop in who you think is going to win this one, and we will get you entered into the giveaway contest if your horse wins race number 4 on the card. So with that said, we're getting a lot of comments from everybody in the chat. Charles Lockerman is going with the number 4, T Energy. Tim Mee for the 7. Charlene's popping in with the 5. And Shadi said that if the 6 wins, she's going to be upset because she was torn between the 2 and 6, and she's going to go with the 2. And let's see, we got Rodney on the 7, Bobby D on the 1. So get a lot of people getting entered here, and that's a lot of fun. So listen, we see how the chat's going, but let's go to all of us here. Joe Palmentari's on the 6. Oh, we got No Need to Call It hanging out in the chat as well. Bob, always good to see him. And he's on the 2 here, as well as Tim Hughes and Rebecca Moore is on the 5. But Keith, where are you going in this race? Who's your top pick in this one?
So I do like number 5, Arrogance, as my top pick. This was another horse that, as I read my notes here, let me pull them up here for you.
Sure.
I really I like this horse because of a few different angles. This was another claim by Jerry Gorno from Shelley Brown. I noticed there was a few horses on the card tonight that actually got claimed from Shelley Brown and in Jerry's barn now. And I was actually looking for a horse that could sit, mid-pack and have a nice stalking spot. If you look back at the allowance races at Century Mile, I mean, those are really tough compared to these kind of races, I think, with those fields. So I like the post, and as I pull up some of the stats here, I mean, Whitehall's already got, 2 wins already tonight, so maybe he's, not like he was in that bad of a cold slump, but, he's going back to his normal ways of dominating again. So I just thought that this horse, 3rd time back in Assiniboia, and I looked back at those other races in the past and really liked Arrogance. And then I looked at number 7, actually, Unusual Account, as my long shot in this race. And we actually matched up a lot on, I saw your cap in the card, Matthew, and we matched up a lot on that. So it was always a good sign.
Well, sometimes.
This is it was a tougher condition last time, and this horse opened up and tired. But I just, the race 2 starts back can really match up well with a lot of these horses, and just thought maybe could get overlooked. And I see the tote board is not kind of saw what I saw, so I thought the 7 had a chance, and then I put the number 2 as my 3rd spot, Tara Tattoo, just based on class. Just at those Woodbine races, and 9 to 5 morning line. I really was kind of looking for value, but this horse could be tough with the inside draw and to save ground. So I like 5-7-2.
There you go. Jessica, where are you going in this race?
I am going 7-2-5.
Okay.
Pretty much. Keith pretty much stole my thunder with all the things. But yeah, I love the. I mentioned the 7 earlier. I love the back class there. And dropping down a little bit. Last time was in an open 7.5 claimer. This time coming in for a non-winners of 2, $5,000. And this is a horse who has 3 lifetime wins. So manages to sneak by. I'm not exactly sure how, but I guess those races back there, those allowance races at I'm not sure even what GPR is. That Grants Pass? Is that?
Yeah.
That is. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess maybe those races there don't count. But
yeah.
I like that. I thought that the 2 was very reasonable horse. Clearly fits at this level based on that effort 2 back, and then they tried to step up into allowance company last time and just wasn't good enough to fit with those. But so yeah, and then the 5 also just kind of seems like one who fits in here with this group.
Yeah. Sean, I know you and I agreed on the last race a lot. What about this race?
Yeah, I think you and I are simpatico again here, bud. What do you call it? I go way back with Terra Tattoo, when Emma Jane Wilson and Billy Theranos had her Woodbine, and I had a great deal of success with her. So she's always been one of my favorites. So, but I think she's definitely the class of this field. And I do think she was my top pick. I thought the 7 was extreme value, especially on the stable duel thing.
Mm-hmm.
Again, maybe not a horse I would bet necessarily across the board, or whatever. But I thought it could really, with the Bug Boy up and the ability, I think could really hit the board here at a square price. And then to no shape, I was 275.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, a little bit of a broken record. I mean, I like the 2 up top as well. I thought the last race, was Jessica, you mentioned the step up in class and didn't embarrass himself at all. I mean, ran a halfway decent 4th there. So it wasn't a bad effort. And I think now dropping back down into that claiming level. And we should mention that horse, ran against a horse like Frank's Reload off the bench, and Frank's Reload went on to win 2 more, another race, and then finish a very close up 2nd in a 3rd race, and was kind of running through that claiming condition early in the meet. And so, ran into a really hot horse. That was the first time this horse was off the bench. And so, I like Terra Tattoo quite a bit in this spot. And then, the 7 was the other one. I just felt like, from a speed figure standpoint, is taking a class cut. I think actually, has a couple of wins going 7 furlongs, and I just think made a lot of sense. So that's where I went on this one. And I see Colin, who's with us and not with us at the same time, is commenting that he likes a 3 as well. And that's a really good point. That is a trainer owner that Gorno actually owns Great Realization as well. And so that is, something to make note of there for sure. So, very noteworthy as we get into, getting closer. 9 minutes to post here in race number 4. Bree, how are you doing keeping track of everything?
I was just going to say, so there's 3 in the chat right now that haven't given out winners and have chatted. So Based Outdoors, I know you gave a pick 3, but if you want to enter to win the t-shirt, just give us your 1 pick. So pick for a winner. I know you got 2 and 5 on top. Which one you want for the giveaway? And then we've got the other 2 is the Penn State. So we are fellow Penn Stater. If you want to be entered for a t-shirt, give us your winner. And then there was one other one, and INN. Give us.
Oh yeah, in Opfa. Always a classic.
One place to 6.
He always picks winners, so we need
Put
to
in
know.
the 6.
Oh, there we go. Assiniboia Downs Race Force. Win plays the number 6. Okay.
6.
So and then Basil Gammon. All right. So Club's got the number 6.
I love it.
Yeah. So we're just waiting for 2 other ones, but doing good.
Right.
I mean, it's a pretty good list. Look at that.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. No, we're doing awesome. So this is great. And we should say how the odds are going right now. And what I will say is the odds are number 7. Again, folks, trust the profits, moves the board on these horses.
Yeah.
We are the reason that the number 7 has gone from 12-1 morning line down to 7-2 currently.
Wow.
I don't know if I like that horse at 7-2. I like that horse a lot more at 12-1. The number 2 Terra Tattoo is your current favorite at 2-1, followed by the number 6 Great Vision at 3-1, who we've not touched on yet, and followed by the number 7 Unusual Account at 7-2. Arrogance has actually floated up a little bit and is at 9-2 currently. And then you have T Class, the number 4 at 20-1, and Wit Sweet 16 at 10-1. So a lot of movement there on the board, certainly for the number 7. I think people kind of see a lot of the same things we did. I will say, I don't know, any thoughts on the number 6 Great Vision in this spot, who is currently the second choice on the board. I was just scared off by the really long layoff and the fact that Calvin Britton, is a smaller operation, but hasn't won off the layoff before. So, I know Crano's up and he's riding well, but I didn't have much confidence in that one. Jessica, I don't know if that was one you took a look at anyway, or what your thoughts were on that one.
I took a look, but eventually just felt like I couldn't use this horse. Especially not in stable duel, because this horse either wins or gets distanced. This horse, I mean, looks like will probably be going to the front in here.
Yeah, looks like it.
But can he keep going is the question. Couldn't keep going at 5.5 furlongs. Couldn't keep going at 8.5 furlongs. So, yeah, I just didn't really see it with the 6. I get that, like, some of those speed figures last year make them competitive here, but I didn't see it. Which means he probably wins. So sorry, Shotty.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it. Sean, did you see it at all on the 6?
No, I like the last workout, but I just too long. I just didn't see him. He needs one, I think. I'll let him beat me in one. He
needs like 12, Sean. Like, the reality is, he finally got a maiden claimer 6,000. Hasn't won since then. Isn't shown anything. The works, the connections kind of pull a wool over your eye, but then you go back and you're like, I mean, this is a horse of the group, and is it even the horse of the group? But the connections make me nervous. The workout makes me nervous, but they would have had to find something real different to make this work, if you ask me.
Yeah. No, I agree. I
clicked on the mare. Just a fun fact that has nothing. Do not bet the horse based on this, but the dam of the 6 is a half to Pioneer of the Nile.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Well, I'm pretty sure. So Pioneer of the Nile was a Zayat horse, and this is a Zayat red horse.
And so was Justin Phillip.
Yeah, so that's why the connections make me nervous. But if you look at the record, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. This horse has proven that what he is, and the connection to Pioneer of the Nile is meaningless at this point for the horse.
Yeah, this is a great question. Just quickly for you guys, I was discussing this the other day. A lot of people use the word back class. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes they'll be like, "Oh, this horse 3 years ago was really good." And I'm like, well, it's 2023 now. And in 2020, he was really good, but it's 2023. He hasn't come. But 3 years ago, he was really good. I'm like, well, I really don't think you can go with what they had 3 years ago. And so many people do it. And I'm like, why are you going back 3 years, 4 years when they were good, Yeah.
I'll go back a year, but that's about it. Yeah.
I'll go back to last year. And I mean, sometimes you do get, especially at lower level tracks, like I can think of horses at Charlestown in particular, where you get these hard knocking horses who just like every now and then run a ridiculous race where I wouldn't bet them. But also when you see the horse win, you're like, oh, well, I mean, 2 years ago, that horse was a stakes horse around here. And so I guess he's back to that. But they're not the kind of horse that I can faithfully bet with any kind of confidence. Unless, if you see a horse like that and that horse is 80-1 and the horse has back class, maybe I'll throw a across the board type thing on a horse, even based on 3 years ago form. But at anything less than like 50-1, maybe 20-1, but depends on the field. But
there's a horse that I was looking at the other day that was at Delaware Park. It was a Gary Capuano horse. And it was interesting because it was a horse that was shortening up and was going to 6 furlongs. And what's so interesting is if you look at his 2022 campaign, the horse was routing almost the entire campaign. But then if you go back to 2021, the horse was running at 6 furlongs. And so that was one where I went back 2 years essentially, because I was like, Well, I don't know if last year is actually an indication of how good this horse is because it was going a mile and a 16th the entire time. And I'll go back 2 years now to when that horse was actually running at 6 furlongs. Now, a lot can change though in that time. And the horse ran okay. It didn't run great, so it was, you'd think, well, maybe that, something the horse has just kind of declined, and maybe doesn't have the natural speed it had earlier, and that's why they were stretching the horse out because it doesn't need maybe the sort of blazing speed it needed initially to get the job done. So, it's that's always interesting. Sean, it's a good question that you pointed out about back class and kind of how far back do you go.
It's always
Keith,
a hot topic on Twitter. Yeah, back class.
I was going to say, how far back do you go? Yeah.
You know what? With those kind of, you bring up a good point. I look back at those races that maybe that the horse is having now currently that maybe they haven't raced, in about a year or two, but not much more than 2 years really for me. Just to get to Great Vision real quick. I think this horse is clearly going to get the lead. I just couldn't bet this horse off of the long layoff, like you all said. And, the connections I really wasn't familiar with. And, I like that last workout, like you said, Sean, but, I let these horses kind of beat me, but I think this horse is definitely going to be on the lead. I'm just not sure if he's going to last.
Yeah. So I just want to give a shout out to Charles Lockerman, who's talking about back class here in the chat. I think a thoughtful comment too, in terms of where this horse is placed and the condition and there's a lot of factors that go into it. And then, and also the field. It is funny because there are some times where you can tell. There was a race a couple weeks ago. I remember looking at it, and you could tell the trainer was trying to get the horse a win because it was dropping the horse down in class and it was going from like a stakes level to like an optional claiming or an allowance race, and the race just came up so damn salty. And I was like, oh, this is a really tough allowance race. This is not like they clearly did not want the race to come up this strong. And it's just like, oh, this is going to be a tough one for this horse again. A lot of factors here, but we got a minute to post. So Colin, if you want to put up the YouTube on the screen for us, and we can, keep track of how things are coming along here. But we got Tara Tattoo at 2-1 still. Great Vision still at 3-1. So the board's pretty much so unchanged from the last time we checked. And I'm sorry, Tara Tattoo now at 8-5. Unusual account at 9-2. Great Vision at 5-1. So back up to its morning line price. So Tara Tattoo is starting to take that money and is down to 8-5 on the board right now. So that's where we are there.
The only thing, so here's where I'm at with this. Tara Tattoo to win this race. By far the better horse, if you ask me. Yeah. But then I think it turns into a jockey race. And does Sven win over Antonio?
Right. Sven Bellrup's had nice success. It's funny. I remember looking at this earlier in the meet, and I believe every single one of his wins came on a Marvin Buffalo horse at one point.
Did, yes.
Now, I think he's gotten some wins since then for other trainers, but that is notable. But Bellrup's, given some nice rides. While Antonio's back, we'll see. It's that's going to be it's going to be interesting to see. And I think the variable of going 2 turns is always just kind of an unknown commodity sometimes here at Assiniboia as well. I like the 2 quite a bit here as my top pick, but definitely see the arguments for some of the others. And Great Vision, I'm just not. I'll let that horse beat me. And the 3 Great Realization is a little dead on the board. Actually, it was 3-1 morning line is now 9-1. So really it's floated up quite a bit in the next race. So, we'll get the stream added here. So, as we start getting closer to post time here, and this will of course kick off the $50,000 guaranteed pick 4 pool. And we see Kurt and Stretch both going with the 2-1 selections. You see their tickets up there. Kurt putting together a $36 $1 pick 4 ticket. Stretch going big, giving both a kind of a spready $60 ticket as well as a much skinnier $18 ticket. So some different suggestions depending on how you're doing it. So and I should say I might have missed it. Shoddy, can we get the Foghorns pick 4? Because that's really what we need. Is the Foghorns pick 4?
Yes.
And
Yes.
And
Foghorn,
right as we get here, Dennis Trusty, right on time in the chat, misspelling the word hello. So
Yes.
Dennis, we love you, and you're here. And you're here with us.
Love it.
But Dennis, let us know. You always say you never win anything, but let us know who do you like in race number 4, and we'll get you entered into the contest to win some Assiniboia Downs swag. So if you're not entered yet,
I'm pretty sure.
Like.
Little correction. I'm pretty sure Dennis has already won an Assiniboia Downs hat. So he might lie, but I'm pretty sure he's got one.
Oh, that's possible. It's possible. So we can't. So this is a non-winner. This is like a maiden claimer race. Like if you have any other Assiniboia swag, you're not eligible.
Yeah, I didn't enter. I wasn't allowed in the condition. Yeah. That's great.
I love it. So we're getting them close to here. John Fortwindle just posted that he is going with number 3 in the next race. And
Jeffrey's in the
then
house.
Jeffrey's in the house going with the 7 as well that we all kind of talked about, liked a little bit here. So Shoddy says the Foghorn ticket is skinny, but it's going to be a solid one. So so that's what we got going on there. So we got like I said, we got the race coming up here. 0 minutes to post, and they're getting them ready for this one. I don't know. Did any of you guys play the pick 4? You put a ticket in?
No, I did not for the pick 4, but it's always a good bet. $1 minimum, so always a nice payout though. So you definitely, even if you beat even if you get like a second choice, maybe 2 or 3 second choices, it could still pay.
Okay. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right about that. And so
$50,000 guaranteed.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're getting them loaded into the gate here. For race number 4. Yeah, good luck to everyone. Yeah. And I know Colin's internet is struggling a little bit, and but we got the updated stable duel standings to share after this race. And Colin, why don't we just turn on the volume now for this one, and let Kurt just kind of call us into the post here in race number 4, kicking off the $50,000 guaranteed pick 4. And good luck to everybody with the pick 4. Oh, I see Shoddy. Shoddy just shared hers. She's going 2 over 2-3 over 3-6 over 2-4. That's fantastic.
Okay, I like it.
That is great. That is skinny right there. I like it. Let's get that Foghorns pick 4 home. So love that. All right.
Very cool.
So they're about loaded in.
Good luck to everybody.
Yeah, good luck to everyone. So here we go. Colin, can you turn the volume up on this? But they got them loaded in, and they're off. And there we go.
Looks like we got Wit Sweet 16. No, I'm sorry, the 7.
Yeah. So we got Tara Tattoo out on the lead with Unusual Account to the outside.
Stop the race.
Second, yeah, exactly. Stop the race. Great Vision sitting in third. And then you have Wit Sweet 16, as well as the number 4 T class sitting there. And at the back of the pack is number 3, Great Realization. So going 24-4 for the opening quarter. They are making their way down the backstretch. Unusual Account and Tara Tattoo going at it up front. And the two of them are both traveling well with great vision at 5-2. Took a lot of money late, sitting in third. They did the opening half in a very fast 46-4 for Assiniboia. And they now are turning for home. And Tara Tattoo and Unusual Count are starting to open up on the rest of the field. Tara Tattoo starting to open up, getting there. The number 1, Wit Sweet 16 is making a nice run on the inside rail, but it is going to be Tara Tattoo, but not yet. Here comes Unusual Account fighting back, but it is ultimately going to be Tara Tattoo to get the win and Unusual Account to place. So that's how it's going to finish with, I believe, Great Realization. Or I'm sorry, the number 1, Wit Sweet 16, gets the show. So very impressive. So Bree, the number 2, Tara Tattoo. Those are so we need who all was the winner, or who all had those horses.
So I just need a personal flex here because this never happens, first of all, on live streams and never happens at Assiniboia Downs. I am 3 for 3.
I love it.
Well done.
That was the first price. I bet $15 on that one, but I had 10 on the winner in the last one and 10 on the winner in the last one.
Girl.
So 3 for 3.
Oh, wow, well done.
All right, so Shoddy had the number 2, was going to be sad at the number 6 winning, so you're good, Shoddy, you did it. Dan Whitson had the number 2, and No Need to Call It had the number 2. Tim Hughes, I think, had the number 2. Malathat 7 had the number 2. And the only one I don't have written down here is Brett Glotzer, which I know that he posted, so I got to go back here and find what he posted.
All right.
I got it in here.
All right. So then we got to do the spinning wheel. Let me see what I can do on my computer. All right. So we got to do the spinning wheel of destiny here. Automatic wheel generator. No.
Shout out again to while we're in a moment of lull, to my dad who got the exacta in stable duel on that race.
Oh, lovely.
So he got knocked down, lost a 1.5 in the last race, down to 32nd. But that might help him out in his first stable duel attempt.
I love it.
Very cool.
That's fantastic.
I'm just following his stable now. I had the 7 and I had the 5 that last race, but I
might have had the 2. I might have had the exacta in this one as well. It was the one I gave the exacta out on Captain the Card, but I don't know if I used it in stable duel. Bree, can you say those names again for who had the 2? I know Shoddy was one.
Dan Whitson, I have written down Witschen. Then we have no Need to Call It.
Yep.
Tim Hughes, Malathat 7, and that's all I've got. So if somebody thinks I missed one, you let me know, and we'll go back and check though.
All right.
On to you guys, but
we will do that in a second. So, so we got that. So I'll wait a second to spin the wheel, but we do have the wheel up, and let me see what I can do in terms of getting the wheel up there. So present, share screen. And so we got here we go. So we got the wheel generator up. So if everybody is okay, if there's no other people contesting the number 2, just want to make sure. So in that case, we will go ahead and spin the wheel.
No objection.
No objections. No inquiries. We're going to spin the 2 to see who gets the Assiniboia Downs shirt. So let's spin it here.
All right.
Here we go.
The person who's going to get it is going to be No Need to Call It. Bob Woth gets it. The winner, number 2. There you go. So congratulations to No Need to Call It to get it there.
Way to go.
Congratulations.
Nice.
Yeah. Love to see that.
Excellent.
So excellent job. Thank you, Bree, for providing the swag.
Yeah, awesome.
Appreciate that. And congrats to Bob on getting the winner there. But I feel like we were all around that race. We all liked that 2-7 quite a bit. So that made us feel good.
Yeah.
Move the needle.
Yep. Absolutely. So you're all right.
Yeah, I actually checked both of my stables and I had the exacta on both. So that's pretty awesome.
Nice. Very well done.
So
Very well
me
done.
up a little bit. Yeah. Thank you.
Very well done. Bree, I know you got to get headed, but I appreciate you staying so late and hanging out with us tonight. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you, Bree.
Awesome, Bree.
I'll be on in the future. I mean, I feel like we all have to do what we can to try to fill the void of this one up here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, stop it. Everybody just needs to stop. Just please. I appreciate
it's like someone knocked 3 heads off Mount Rushmore.
All right. All right. That's enough of this. That's enough of this nonsense. All right. Bree, thank you so much for coming and hanging out. Really appreciate it. I will see you later this summer for sure. So
bye guys. Good luck tonight.
Right. Hey, y'all.
Yeah,
be good. All right. So thank you again for Bree for hanging out with us. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Always appreciate her time. She she's got a little one who I think is about 8 months old. So for her to take the time out is always really appreciated. And we've been struggling with internet issues. I have internet issues. Colin's been having internet issues. Now we're going to go to Jessica and see if she has internet issues because now she's in charge of the live stream.
Okay.
Jessica, I wanted to ask you, when you were talking to us last time, Colin is now back. Now that he doesn't have any responsibilities, the internet is working out much better for him. Yes. So he's back. But I wanted to ask Jessica, you had mentioned that you were trying to get your future in-laws into horse racing. Was this successful?
It was not. Everybody had found better things to do rather than play Assiniboia Downs on 4th of July. I tried though.
Very sad. Very sad.
I was like hyping it up and I thought they were down and then I brought it up later and they were like, And I was like,
look at a minute. 20 cent pick 3s. That's it.
Right.
Colin, how are you doing, my friend?
What's going on, Colin?
Things are better now?
We'll see. It's been sluggish over here. It's like,
we've had a boatload of rain up here today.
Yeah, it was really bad yesterday, and it was like state of emergency.
Really bad up here in Boston.
Yeah.
So.
I do have the update to the stable duel standings just prior to the last race. So here's your $15 game. Chef Wed was in first with 188 points. I was hanging around 20, so I had the 7 there, which I thought was pretty good value. So that's going to help. I didn't have Tarot Tattoo. And then in the free game, nobody I recognize on the top of the free game, at least at this point. Yeah. I did see that Mr. SPN had the exacta in that last race, so he's going to pick up 100 points, and we should see his name shooting up the leaderboard very soon, I would think. But that's your latest stable duel $15 and free ride standings.
I love it. Thank you for pulling that up, Colin. I just checked as you were talking about this, and I in fact had the exacta in all 3 of my stables. In the last race, so I'm very pleased by this development.
And Keith did too. Yeah.
Every once in a while, I listen to myself, and I should do that more often. It is the absolute hardest thing to do. You're absolutely right. No, it is hard to do, and I felt like that this weekend. When we watched in the Suburban, because I just watched Clapton's price continue to go up and up and up in the Suburban. And I was like, this horse won a grade 3 2 races ago. Am I on crazy pills? Why is everybody betting Linda Rice? And a horse that's never run without Lasix and in a grade 2. And so like, I'm just like, am I the only one seeing Clapton at 11-1 on the board? And so like, I thought I was nuts. And I was like, I'm going to put in a $10 exacta on just straight up, charge it and Clapton exacta, and that paid off very nicely. And but yeah, it is hard because sometimes you look at the board and you're like, well, maybe I'm just stupid. Like maybe everybody else sees something I don't see, and so you psych yourself out sometimes from good bets. But I figured before we get into the next race, which is race number 5 on the card, $10,000 non-winners of 3 lifetime going 6 furlongs. For 3-year-old and up. And before we get into this, I thought I'd kind of go around, maybe talk a little bit about what we saw last weekend and over the last couple of weeks. Jessica, I know you did a really great video on August Rodan and obviously we saw him win the Irish Derby, and then we saw Paddington just this past weekend win the Eclipse. And so, and then we obviously saw some of the great turf racing taking place here over at Belmont over the weekend with Aspen Grove coming over from Europe and winning on the turf. And then we saw Farbridge getting a win. Was there a turf performance that maybe stuck out to you from those four, or maybe kind of a horse that you're most excited about from that group?
Well, I'm still really excited about Augusta Dawn. Obviously, I feel like that race wasn't quite as impressive as he had to work for it a little more than I think people thought he would.
Yeah.
But I thought it was interesting to see out of the race that Coolmore was talking about trying the Classic with him. I thought that was an interesting potential career, trajectory for him.
Yeah.
I thought that was one of the most notable things out of the weekend for me was just the last couple of weeks, for me was hearing that. I mean, if there's a year to do it, this might be it.
Yeah. Don't you know it? That's the truth. And it's funny. I because it was the 4th of July, I posted that video of Tisnow winning the Classic and the great Tom Durkin called Tisnow wins it for America. But it's, when you go back and watch that race, you remember like Saki, the ARC winner, is the horse that he beat. Like, there was a time where they would bring over these great turf horses to run them on the dirt.
And I think Galileo was in that race.
Yeah. Yep. He was.
He was like 6th or something, but he didn't embarrass himself.
Right. He was in there. Yeah. No. Yeah.
So, I hope, and you're right. If there's ever a year to do it, it feels like this is certainly the year
like
to try.
The Declaration of Wars and the Giants Causeways when they were coming over,
Yeah.
Like the monsters,
And it's interesting because I know a couple weeks before that we heard the news from Japan that Derma Sotogake is going to be targeting the Classic as well. That the connection said that they're going to be going there. So it's like but to Jessica, to your point, like if any year is the year, like why not just like take a shot, bring the horse over, see what happens.
He's very nothing really to lose. If he doesn't run on dirt, then he goes back to England. It becomes a great turf sire.
Right. Exactly right. So, Sean, I don't know, any big takeaways from this past weekend for you? Any performances that really stuck out from the weekend?
Yeah. One thing for Shadi, because, I'm having known the Ammermans and Oscar performance.
Yeah.
Red Carpet Ready did not like the heat at all.
That's what I had heard. Yeah.
She did not like the heat at all. So I would just throw a big giant X. Now, that would worry a little bit if she's coming back to Saratoga because it's hot. But I'm saying, but just the other day, she just did not like the heat one. And to her credit, the jockey noticed right away and just kind of pulled her up. So that was a little bit. Yeah. Exactly.
Should be a good price in the fall coming back.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. But how about Mr. Murphy coming over from
Ocean? Yeah.
Exactly. Not just favorites, bringing in long shots.
Yep.
And then he's riding Cosa the next day in France. I'm like, good Lord, But
it was wild. And you're right. He got what a beautiful ride on Aspen Grove.
Oh my God.
At Belmont Oaks.
Gorgeous.
Just the perfect ride from the far outside, got that horse inside covered up and just beautiful and just blew past everybody as they were, trying to set tortoise-like fractions up in New York on the turf as they always do. And, really impressive effort. And then even on the Foxes, a huge
Excellent.
run there late to get up for second in that race. Colin, you did some. I love what you're doing now with these kind of in-depth preview or analyses after the race is over, and you looked at both the Indiana and the Iowa Derby. The Iowa Derby was freaking wild. If people didn't watch that, that was absolutely wild. But I didn't know if there was, what from those two races, if something stuck out or another one of the races this weekend.
Yeah, for me, it was a performance that didn't show up, and that was Iron Clover. I really thought Iron Clover early in the Derby season was a horse that was going to make some noise, sired by looking at Lucky, who's a horse that always kind of has a little bit of my heart because of making some winnings on that one. And that was a race that, on paper, there was a ton of early speed. Every single horse was E or EP, according to Brisnet, and you can go back and watch that video and see that. And Iron Clover was a horse who had dealt with fast paces early and was able to have 3 victories off of races that were really quick. So going into that race, in a field that I thought he should have been able to handle, did not. And so that was a disappointing one. But you're right about. I mean, I was waiting up late to try and do my breakdown of the Iowa Derby, and I literally fell asleep between the time the race ended, and I had to release it the next morning because me and you were texting a little bit, but I'll tell you, I was drowsy and my eyes were closing as it was like, well, first of all, it was who won. And so it was a dead heat. And then not only was it a dead heat, but then you had some question about the one on the inside coming out and hitting. How did he do that? And even interrupting the 3 who was even further outside. So you had to wait for kind of both of those angles to be decided upon. Yeah. And then you got your gigantic winner who in the last race for how did he do that prior was the fastest closing speed in that coming into that whole race. And it ended up playing out for, I said it on paper. You said there should be a lot of early speed. So it sets up nice for horses to close from behind. The race didn't actually end up having, I didn't think, a ton of speed up front. You had the 3 horses that went to the lead, or the 3 that kind of, aside from how did he do that, who was your winner, staying up front for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So it was a great race, and I would love to hear people's thoughts on those breakdowns I'm doing. They're only 2 minutes long, and I'm trying to bring the past performances alive, as they say. So check those out.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome, they're really, really good. They're very helpful.
You do a fabulous job, Colin.
I really like it a lot.
Definitely.
And by the way, just quickly, the fire award goes to our girls Sherry DeVoe and Adrian DeVoe, who are just now just scorching everybody with everybody. And I think their horse Gallop is if he doesn't go, if Edgar doesn't go in, out, around, probably beats verifying if he keeps a straight path, And that horse is only improving, still green. So I think that horse is going to get better and better as he goes along. Still green.
I love Cagliostro as a horse. I've been on him since his maiden victory back at the fairgrounds, and I just, I'm glad that he was able to redeem him. It's because there was some question: is he better off Lasix or on Lasix versus off? That Louisiana Derby was really bad, but he broke through the starting gate and was all sorts of worked up, and it was just like I can just draw a line through that. And then I made a joke that it looked like me trying to get through traffic on I-95 in the Beltway in DC. It was just good Lord, it just everywhere. And Colin, you did a great job in that analysis. Where it was every time this horse thought there was an opening, just get slammed down. Somebody's coming in, somebody's coming out, and just could not make a run. Had to check up pretty severely in the stretch. And super talented horse though, and I think definitely has a bright future. So
reminded me of Reincarnate. Remember that race for Reincarnate? I was like, this horse is loaded. He just keeps getting shut off.
That was that Oaklawn. All right, well, let's move to because we got about 4 minutes to posters though for race number 5. And
horse on the track for race number 5, our VIP Fan of the Night race.
The VIP Fan of the Night race.
VIP Fan of the Night.
Who's going to get it?
Oh, this race is for me?
All right. We'll see. Jess, can you turn off the volume on yours for a little bit?
By Tom Boyko.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks.
See, Jess, it's a lot of responsibility. That's why I left the screen.
A lot going on here.
Now you're trying to. Now we want. I had to do it on time, brought in on the right time, and who do you like in the race?
We'll start with Colin. We'll start with you since you've been off camera for a lot of tonight. Who did you go with in this race number 5?
That's where people prefer me, Matt.
No, it's not. Stop it.
I ended up using number 5, Mia's Majesty. I thought this jockey Bonneau is someone that I've just keeping my eye on in particular. I'm not crazy. Well, I guess I am a little bit crazy, but the horse that had done well on the synthetic moving over to Assiniboia Downs and showed early speed on the dirt. And the reason that I really liked this horse here was I think that there's an early pace advantage. Yeah. And I think if Mia's Majesty can get out, you might get a little bit of pressure from Frank's reload on the inside. But I'm hoping that Mia's Majesty can just set some nice fractions and take him to the wire. I also used in the essence of stable duel. You run to the end there, and you run out of money, and you got to find a horse to fill the bottom of your tank. And I went with High Rise in the peg, Antonio Whitehall, number 7. I honestly don't even remember why I liked the horse. I remember I just didn't have any money left, and he was the last one in. So hopefully, High Rise in the peg. I think it was actually a little bit of back class, but you guys had a whole conversation on that. And really, the back class was just one race at Assiniboia Downs, but it was some improvement last year off the layoff. So the third race off the layoff was improvement. The fourth race off the layoff was improvement. So the speed figures this year were a little bit lighter. But hopefully that is just this horse rounding into form. I did like the 4. The fact that this horse is 9 for 15 in the money made it an interesting choice for stable duel. The reason I decided against was the trainer's 0 for 18. And that to me was just, I'll let him beat me for now.
Now we did see a trainer get off the schneid, excuse me, earlier tonight. Jennifer Jordan got the win after going 0 for 26 to start the Assiniboia Downs meet. So she won the first race. So we did see that. But Colin, like you, I usually let those sorts of angles beat me. Jessica, where did you go in this race?
I kind of saw it very similarly. I thought the 3 was the horse to beat, but I went with the 5 on top just because of the price. Thought that I agreed that I thought the 7, if the 7 can run back to some of those races last year, was a maiden special weight and allowance winner last year, 3rd and 4th off of the layoff. So hoping that, the breaking slow and kind of not great efforts first 2 were just coming back into it, and hopefully, for stable duel at least could get a little something there. But like you have the 3 and the 5 who are both stepping up, but look like they deserve to be stepping up, especially the 5 winning by 5 last out. Seems like Assiniboia might be where he wants to be. So that was kind of for both of them. Both horses were coming in and kind of trying to find where they belong at this track, it seems like. And
it's interesting. I see Stretch's top pick and Kurt's second pick is the number 2 St. Pio. I was just worried. This horse backed up so badly last time at Lone Star, and is coming back on relatively short rest. And Jerry Gorno, as good of a trainer as he is, doesn't really win a ton off the claim right away. And so when I saw a horse stop that badly, I don't know if the horse bled or what happened, or maybe it was just the heat or I don't know, but like that horse just completely stopped. And so that was a concerning race for me. And I'm not going to take a short price on a horse like that. Sean, where did you go in this one?
I like the 1.
All right.
The 1 here.
Nice.
Because I really, and I could be wrong here. If the 2 does go out, if the 3 goes out, if the 5 goes out, and we have like 3 or 4 horses that literally could just have a log jam up front, maybe this 1 coming out of allowance, 10,000 last time, even though it was in 5,000, maybe he can pick up the pieces. If there's just too much speed up front, he could be the one that could possibly pick him up in the lane late. So for stable duel, the only one I played was the 1, because honestly, I couldn't separate the 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Nice.
I like it. I like that analysis. Keith, where did you go in this one?
So actually I got the 4 as my top pick, Kitten.
Okay.
And I was looking for a horse because I saw a lot of speed in this race. I kind of was looking for maybe like a second flight type horse that can come from off the pace but not be right up on the lead. And I know that this horse is 0 for 6 at the distance, but has 3 thirds, and just thought, third off the layoff now, and you got Chow is a pretty solid jockey, and so I like the 4, and then I like the 6 also. Actually, 6 got scratched, so wow, I didn't even see that. So 6
I know. I like the 6 a lot. That was my top pick actually, but
with that race, too. I just did with St. Pio. I think this horse is either gonna win by be very impressive, or I don't know. I just couldn't. From a stable duel standpoint, I couldn't use this horse, and haven't really seen Lone Star shippers. I haven't really seen too many of them perform this year, but I just let that 2 kind of beat me. But I wouldn't be surprised if the 2 maybe ran well, maybe like you said, maybe bled last time or just had some kind of issue. But it's the favorite right now.
Yeah, it's a 2-1 favorite, and I'll say, it's funny when you said, we haven't seen much from, Lone Star shippers. We haven't seen much of Lone Star, full stop, because we can't, because the state of Texas has decided not to play nice with everybody else. So that is very unfortunate, but so it's hard to watch, and I love playing that. I loved watching that Texas circuit last year on Stable Duel. So it's just very unfortunate.
They almost had a settlement, right? And then everybody was celebrating. And
I know.
And it ended.
It
was one day.
I know, it was like open for a day, and that was it.
My fault. I moved to Texas, and then all of this just happened. I moved to Texas. We get the 2 hottest summers anybody can remember. I moved to Texas. Horse racing goes down the drain. It's my fault. I'll take the blame.
All right. Well, Jess, let's turn the audio back on. Let's have Kurt, get us ready for this one, and good luck everybody out there for race number 5.
2 left to load.
Tickets.
His Majesty. Now just waiting on High Rise in the Peg. The field is set. They're at the post.
All right. There we go.
And they're off. On the inside, Frank's Reload. Shows early speed with Mia's Majesty. Now taking over to the lead on the outside. Back to second, Frank's Reload. Sitting in third, well restrained. Kitten to the outside. A gap of 3 more back. St. Pio with High Rise in the Peg. And well back to Miramac is about 10 off the early lead. The opening quarter, 23 seconds. And it's Frank's Reload and Mia's Majesty. Nose and nose. Kitten now swings to the outside. 3 wide to engage those leaders. Rallying from behind. High Rise in the Peg. St. Pio and Murromek has made up a bunch of ground. They hit the head of the lane. On the outside, Kitten with a good stride. High Rise in the Peg, also with Pony and St. Pio on the inside, and Murromek.
Check out this one. Check out this one.
Wow.
Wow.
There you go.
Nice.
Great call by Sean.
Very close for a second, but between St. Pio and Kitten and High Rise in the Peg.
Fantastic.
Wow, nice call, Sean.
Great call by Sean. And that one played out exactly like you said. A lot of speed, and there comes the one running late. Yeah.
I thought the 7 would be that horse, and he tried, just wasn't as good.
Yeah. Wasn't good enough. But you're right. That you go back and you look, and that 7, definitely had, or that 1 definitely had the best late speed figures in the group. So very impressive. Very
good
impressive.
race.
So, that was a fun race. That was really good.
That was a really good race.
Yeah, that was outstanding. Sadly, Shoddy said that the Foghorns ticket is cursed. It's very sad that the Foghorn ticket is out.
Oh no!
But for sometimes bad things happen. Malathat 74, got cashed, got it done there. So great to see that. And so that's good. And that 7 ran, like you said, just wasn't quite good enough, but gave me a brief for thrill because I was like, oh my God, that horse is gonna do it.
Got it. For a second, I thought my 357 was gonna end up all right, but
it was a good ride by Whitehall, I thought.
Yeah.
That was a great ride by Antonio. Yeah.
Now Dennis is claiming that the 4 has to come down. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know if there's an inquiry sign or what, or if Dennis is just upset that the that something happened here with the number 4. I don't know. The 4 might have come out on the 7 a little bit, but I didn't see too much. But it does look like they're going to a split screen, so it does look like there is going to be some sort of challenge.
Photo win. I don't know what they're looking at.
There's no photo for the win.
If you say so.
I mean, this is, I mean, not to make fun of anyone, but I mean, this is not like, we're not talking about John and Brielle here up in, New York. This is, come on, like, we know who won this race.
Yeah, sometimes at Penn National, it's like the clear winner, and it's like photo for win, and I'm like, wow.
I know. And
just trying to add some drama.
But they also had a photo for place earlier that was like very obvious.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Okay. So
There
1472.
That 7 ran huge.
So that 7 did really run huge. And so
I did, in full disclosure, have a 1-7 exacta box. I thought I was heartbroken.
Wow.
But I have the one across, so that's okay. That's all right.
Unofficial. Doesn't look like there's any inquiries or anything like that going on. So I don't think anybody's coming down. It looks like that's going to be the result of the race.
Dennis is on the phone with his people up there.
Yeah.
Dennis is calling the judges right now.
Yeah.
Going in the steward's head.
Making sure don't make it
We have a
official.
claim from Kentucky.
Yeah. I will say one of the tracks that I will say, and I know Larry Colmus talks about this, that Kentucky Downs is always really tough to call when they're calling, because where he's seated is like at an angle from where the start finish line is. And then I remember watching the races last week, I should say, or 2 weeks ago at Thistledown. And like the camera is like 100 yards before the start finish line. And you're like, and they just like pan by as the horses like run to the start finish. You're like, yeah, I guess that horse won. I don't know. Like maybe that horse won. Maybe the angle just helped that horse win. I don't know. So it can be tough sometimes.
Dennis's claim did not. They
disallowed.
I love that.
So sorry, Dennis. The 4 is not coming down, and the 1 is going to stay up top. So we got nice winner here with Muramek, the number 1, paying $14.40 to win. Kitten playing $4.20 to place, and the number 7 High Rise in the Peg playing $5 to show. St. Pio finishing 4th. $1 exacta pays $27.05. The $1 try $110.30. The $1 superfecta $199.40. The $1 pick 3 pays $83.90. So there you go. Dennis says that the 4 came out like 8 paths. I don't know about this, Dennis. It doesn't sound like it's sour grapes, but it just he does not sound pleased about this development. So, but alas, here we go. And
I have some news actually. I did use the 1. I used the 1 in stable duel actually because I thought I would get a piece of it. So I used it both. Wow. So I'm gonna. Sean's actually in first place. So well done.
Sean is in first place in the $5 game, in the $15 game, and Uncle Sully is in 3rd place. You're in 7th place.
Yeah, the only thing is, Keith, I'm almost out of horses. So
I stocked a lot.
Yeah.
I used a bunch in a couple of races.
And 2, so I don't know how much, exactly.
Are you going to get the last furlong?
The jockey's going to the whip. Exactly.
I made the mistake of going 3 deep in here in the race that I felt uncomfortable with instead of just picking 1 and flying with it.
Yeah.
I'm learning
Great job, Mel.
Yeah.
Strategy.
So,
the hard way.
That's a great thing about stable duel. Yeah, you could just, like you said, Matthew, you could try things, and if it doesn't work, you can, come back and learn from it.
Oh, absolutely. Exactly. I mean, that's the beauty of the free games, the low dollar games, is you try different strategies. You front load some races, you back load some races, you kind of see how things go. I know some people really love front loading their stable, and a lot of times it just depends on the card. And where, Jessica, to your point, like where you have the most confidence, and where do you think there's the biggest potential discrepancy between the morning line and what this horse is actually going to run at for. And, so you try to take advantage of those things. So there's a lot of different strategies to use when you're playing stable duel. And, I like to, it's funny, I was talking to Mike Domabell, who's a really good player. And we were talking about something, I forget, it was one of the big days, maybe at Royal Ascot or something where I did well. And he and I were chatting back and forth. Yeah. And I said, it was funny. What I'll do a lot of times is like when there's a big contest, I don't know why I do this because it doesn't really matter because the money is one way or the other, but I'll build my first stable like as soon as the entries open in like the low dollar game, like the free contest or the $5 contest, and I'll build it just to see if I like it. And I'm like, do I like that? Like, can I get the horses that I want for $50,000? Like, can I make this work? And then if I do like it, then I'll like screenshot it, but delete it. And then I'll do all this. I just have all these like really weird idiosyncrasies about all that stuff. So anyway, it's a lot of fun though. It's a great game. If you're not playing it, you absolutely should get into it. It's free to play. And there's a lot of great free contests every week at Stable Duel. So Dennis is still sticking on with this. We've got to watch the head on. We'll watch the head on. Dennis, at some point, I will watch the head on. Okay. I just can't do it right now. But this is, we're moving on to race number 6.
All right.
And
late daily double.
Late daily double. We're starting to get into sleepy time territory as well.
Yes, we are.
Alan Sheehan, who I have a feeling is putting together a sleepy time graphic.
Yes.
And so, but you know something, I'm going to start off with Jess in race number 6 because I feel bad, Jess. The last 2 races, you were like, well, I agree with what Keith said, or I agree with it. I'll let you kick things off so we can agree with you. Where are you going in this race number 6?
So in this race, I thought you had like your 2 horses who were making logical drops, the 5 and the 6, that both make sense. This seems like this is probably getting back to where they want to be. And then on the other hand, you had Bite the Bullet Bro, who is making a logical step up. And trying to decide which of those I liked on top was tough. But I ended up on the 5 on top. And the 4 was another horse, though, who also is taking a step up. Or actually, no, that one was not stepping up. The 4 was just a horse who has figures, who fits consistently, always runs his race. Kind of a good stable duel type of horse who you know what you're going to get from that horse. But I think I would probably 5, 6, 3, 4.
I like it.
I like the droppers over the horses stepping up, but the horses stepping up would not surprise me.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot. I like that angle a lot. Keith, where did you go in this one?
So I mean, I'm familiar with some of these runners, and it was hard for me. No pun intended. It was hard for me to go against Hard West, number 6. But I have that horse number 2 in my listing. I like the number 8 here, Ride 'em, and this, I saw your capping the card, and you made some great points, Matthew. I mean, this trainer is excellent off the claim, and this horse I know is as I look here is let me just look at this here for you. Is only other time at this distance I think was 2nd, and then it just seems like this horse is kind of improving, and with that claim angle, I just thought that was interesting, and you get 5-1 morning line. So I was looking to get a little bit of a price there. So I like that 8. And I know number 6, Hard West, just from, Parks and Monmouth. This is a big class drop for this horse. And I don't think it's been in this kind of field. I mean, like 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, this horse was in big, way tougher conditions than this. So I thought the 6, could be 1st or 2nd there. And then I know Bite the Bullet Bro is with the step up. I like the early speed, and stretching out doesn't really concern me too much. 5 for 8 in the money, actually, kind of at a longer distance. So I just thought, with the slight class bump, and we'll be in the mix. I thought it was a good stable duel horse, and I think a lot of other stables use the 3. So I like those 3 horses.
Yeah, I hear you on that. So, Sean, where did you go in this one?
I didn't use anybody in stable duel because I didn't like it. Like the race as a whole. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. A lot of question marks in this race to me. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't firm on them. Obviously, I do think very much on the way Jessica thought there that the 6 and the 5 very solid drops. The 3, who was 8-1, is 9-5 now. So clearly, a lot of people. I mean, he definitely figured. Even as Keith Elgin said, the 8 has a chance. I mean, even I had 6 horses in here where I said if they run a race, they can actually win. And I don't like races. like that. But I mean, I did think Antonio's horse was the horse to beat, but I am not convinced that he is the heads and shoulders above this group, So
Yeah.
I thought this was a really interesting spread race,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I saw this one as, I really went back and forth, and much like you, Jessica, in terms of like, do I use the 3 up top as like my top pick potentially, and bite the bullet, bro? And I really thought about that for a while, and I just, was maybe a little worried that there might be a little bit more pace pressure on that horse and going. I mean, but has handled the 6 furlongs before. And the 6 is just a huge class drop, as is the 5. Coming in from Aqueduct, we don't really see many New York shippers. I think this is the first New York shipper we've seen
that I remember.
Meet that I can remember, and certainly could very well prove to be so much the best. I mean, that's one of those where I would not be shocked if the 5 or the 6 won this thing by like 8 lengths. Like, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if like they just turn in a huge performance. But Keith, you mentioned the training angle on the claim angle on the 8, ride 'em, and just to put that in perspective for people, Steve Keplin Jr., who's the trainer, is 44% off the claim with
amazing.
These lower level claimers,
Yeah.
and is really, really good. And he just claimed this horse from Jared Brown's barn last time out. This horse won and beat the number 4 in this race, Danza Rebel, that day. So ride him at 5-1, I thought was a really intriguing horse that I thought was on the come up a little bit. And then he's going into a barn that clearly knows how to improve horses off the claim. So thought that one made sense. So I was kind of looking at 6, 3, 8 in this race, but that was those were kind of some of my thoughts on this one. So but
I didn't know what to do with the 5 really. I mean, those are coming from New York circuit, but I just I like to see some of these horses get at least one run at Assiniboia, and I know that this trainer's hitting at 16% Gittins, but I mean, I couldn't. I don't know about you guys, but I just couldn't use the 5 on top or anything like that. So.
Yeah, I struggled with the 5 because the works were really the works were really odd. The horse hasn't run since February 23rd. And then you see this horse has a series of works out of Assiniboia starting in April and then ending in May 6th. And then the horse doesn't work again from May 6th to June 17th and then hasn't worked since then. Yeah, so I just
don't like
I don't know. Like, I don't like that at all. So I just was like,
that's fair. That's a good point.
I was just like,
that's a big red
something
flag.
Might have happened in that regard. But we got him back in time for this race. And Colin, what's going on? Have you been surveying the paddock? Because this officially starts the sleepy time pick potential.
Yes.
Not to pressure you, because you can use it in this race or the next race. But I know we can start in race 6. We start talking about sleepy time picks.
Yeah, I was working my Photoshop, coming up with a nice new graphic for everyone. So we're just waiting to plug the number in there. I did plug in a number. I'm not going to say what it is because I think some of them were showing being a little lackadaisical in their stalls, but they've all come out and they've walked around, in the paddock with ears perked and looking okay. So I think I'm going to hold off on using my sleepy time pick for the next race. Always a gamble, but I think next race we'll have a better shot of finding a horse that really I feel comfortable about not being ready to go.
And they're going to be even sleepier next race.
That's right.
So,
yes.
Even sleepier. But so this is and then so who did you have from a handicapping perspective? Who did you have in this race, or how did you see this one playing out?
Oh, like real handicapping, you mean?
Well, like really, I mean, not that we have to be professionals here, but like, semi-real handicapping, maybe, or just, maybe the color of the saddle pads, I don't know. Just go with, El Hombre's not here. We can go with the dead pet alarm. We could
There's
just.
no banjo bear in here.
I think that audio's laying around here somewhere.
Yeah. There isn't an alliteration, which is another angle I love, but no, I hated this race.
Bite the bullet, bro, is pretty alliterative.
Yeah,
it is, and you got club champ, so there's an exacta for you too.
Oh yeah, all right, there you go.
I did go with Bite the Bullet Bro in my stable duel, but from a parimutuel, I highlighted exactly what Jessica had said, which was, well, actually, I think you said it last race. I don't know about this race, but I highlighted the 3 optional claimers at 10,000 for Hard West, dropping down here to 5,500 at a level that a lot of these other horses have been running at, aside from the one. I think actually in my free stable, which you can throw out the window, I actually used this one as a cheap horse because of that. Just basing it hopefully on getting the drop. But I ended up using Bite the Bullet Bro, using that early speed angle here, which didn't do too well for me last time, as Mia Majesty still running. I think if I could go back and pick a sleepy horse, Mia's Majesty would have been the ideal candidate, but she was a race too early. So I'm gonna Bite the Bullet Bro, the 3, and I have 3 horses left in my stable, so we really need to get this one home if I'm gonna make any noise on that leader, that bugger SPN, who's pulling away.
Wow, crushing it.
I know Sean is crushing it in this one. So, but Sean, you didn't play any horses in this race, right?
No, I only have one horse left. Yeah.
So I will say I got to give a shout out to Dennis, because Dennis just posted the head-on Twitter and tagged us all in it, and it did look in the rest like that 4 really did come out quite a few pairs. And certainly interfered with the 7 maybe a little bit in that race. So I thought it was notable. So Dennis, I appreciate you getting the head on there.
Good guys, Dennis.
And sharing it. So that was good.
Excellent.
But let's see how we're looking at the
Uncle Sully. I will say that one of these horses was really close to being my time pick.
Oh, I want to know who it was.
I pulled back.
I love it. By the way, that was going back. I still can't get over that Iowa Derby, because Colin, you were talking just when I saw Uncle Sully talk about the dead heat. Like, I don't know if I've ever seen a dead heat with a DQ, then with like a winner. Like it was just an odd. It was a very odd series of events that took place. And then I got to give a huge shout out to Tracy Murphy, who was the 61-year-old jockey.
Yes,
who won the Iowa Oaks on Crypto Mo that night as well. And this is a pretty incredible story. She won the very first race at Prairie Meadows as a jockey.
Isn't that amazing?
And that was her 2000th career win and her first graded stake in her career on Saturday night. So that was just
unbelievable.
wild.
She came back from multiple really injuries and actually had to take 2 years off, I think, of racing and go to rehab, and then came back and then got injured again, and then just you heard it in the race call or the announcer's call. It was a great call.
Just remarkable.
It was.
Captured the moment.
Yeah, it really was. It really was. And I believe she actually got injured aboard Crypto Mo.
Yeah,
that's the same horse that threw her.
That
must have been extra sweet.
Yeah, I mean, just awesome. So congrats to her. And I mean, that was an awesome. If you haven't watched that Iowa Oaks, go back and watch the replay of that. That was and Keith, you're absolutely right. Great call by the track announcer. You could tell that it was really special, and that local connection there. So that was really cool. But that was still the Iowa Derby, that was absolutely bonkers. I mean, and Colin, I think a lot of people dozed off in between, when by the time the race ended, by the time they actually made the decision, because I just had a tweet up on my laptop, and I was like, well, I'm not going to send this tweet out until they decide what's going to happen in the race. And then I was like, I don't even know. I should just close Twitter. I don't even need to be on here anymore after 10 minutes. So this was wild. So I can't remember another race like that, but
I was rooting for one in Vermilion. This was actually the horse that, I don't know if you guys remember, flipped in the gate bad at the Sunland Derby, and then just was still able. For some reason, the horse was deemed to run after that, which is crazy.
Yeah,
and then comes back to Santa Anita and Canterbury and shows some nice effort. So. Some nice effort by that horse, but how did he do it? Kind of lived up to the name.
Yeah, very much. And then we also saw I mean, we talked about Cagliostro in the Indiana Derby. What we didn't talk about was just like Verifying really trying as hard as he possibly could to fumble the bag. I mean, Verifying just trying to lose a race and just Raise Kane not allowing him to do it. I mean, it's just absolutely incredible to watch. I mean, Jessica, I don't know. Like that's a horse that just feels like destined to be a second place horse. The rest of his career.
I was about to say that's one of those horses that like we were talking about earlier. Those horses that just want to run with their friends.
Yeah.
Verifying is, I think, a great example of that. I might have to go back and read what Kerry Thomas had to say about him in this year's Kentucky Derby, because he just seems like that kind of horse who always wants to be with his friends, and he runs to his competition a lot. A horse like that who, you could probably put him against cheaper horses.
Right.
And he'd still, like in this case, he won, but kind of because it was who wanted to.
Yeah, I don't know if Raise Kane wanted to go by either. Like he was kind of like, "Hey, I got my buddy here too. We're just gonna hang out." Like,
right.
Let's just finish near the line together.
Yeah, exactly. Like the kind of neither one wanted to win, and Verifying was just better.
Yeah.
But I could also see him. You could probably put him against some of the top horses in the class, and he would still probably finish with them.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that being, him being that kind of horse who great exacta try horse who you'll get a price on because everyone's going to be like, he's not as good as the others.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But I'll kind of keep running in there with him.
Yeah. No, he very infamously a horse that I loved, a couple of years ago was Midnight Bourbon, and was kind of the same type of a horse that was just like always like at the top of the stretch. I was like, holy, this is going to be the time. And then it was like never the time. And I was like, and then I remember when he went over and ran that huge, it was either second or third over in Maidan, and
very
won
well.
$2 million. I really thought at the top of the stretch, because it was the first time I hadn't bet on him in like 6 straight races.
I think he was like 9-1 or something.
Yeah, and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. This is the time he's going to win. And, and then, fortunately, he did what he always did.
Yeah, it just kind of went in place at the end.
Yeah. So, So I've seen a few people in the comments talk about this number 4, Danza Rebel, as kind of a pretty big overlay. Now 13-1 on the board, up from 6-1. I would agree with that. I mean,
absolutely.
That's a horse that's 15 for 43 lifetime in the exacta with 7 wins. I mean, that's a good horse for this level. And I mean, this is the last 6 times out. Second, first, second, first. I don't know how this horse is 13-1. So yeah, that's baffling to see that price on that horse.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
I have to throw a little.
Yeah, so a lot of the jockeys kind of played musical chairs in this race. A lot of them jumped off.
Oh yeah.
Commitment to other. I just thought it was interesting that Carreno stayed on the 2, or he jumped off the 8 to go to the 2, which is kind of interesting to me there.
Yeah,
but Ali's on the 4, so. Yeah.
I was telling them earlier, Keith, that unlike almost any track in North America, agents can have 4 jockeys there, so they jump very frequently there versus the normal track. You can see them on different horses very frequently.
Yeah, the other thing I'll say is I think part of the reason Carreno's off the 8 is because of the trainer change. And so, Keplin uses Badgery a lot more, and Brown is the one who uses Carreno most of the time. So I think that probably has a lot to do. That's actually an interesting angle that I've used before, which is when there's a trainer change and they keep the same jockey. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. That they're like the same jockey stays on a horse. And I'm like, that tells me a little something about like that.
That
horse.
is good.
So that's one that I'm always interested in. And yeah, the 8 is getting hammered. We might have a comment of the night right here. Timmy, the 6 is getting hammered, and so am I.
Well, that may be the comment of the night.
Having a good night.
That might be your comment of the night right there. So love it, Timmy. The 6 is indeed getting hammered at 8-5 currently, and the Aqueduct Invader is at 3-1. Casalsa is at 3-1, And then we see Bite the Bullet Bro coming down from that 8-1 morning line down to 9-2. And then Ride Up also taking a little bit of money down from that morning line of 5-1 down to 4-1. So, they're circling around, making their way to eventually going to start making their way to the gate here in this one. But yeah, let us know how you're betting this one. Are we playing any late daily doubles? How are you betting this one straight up? Let us know. How are you betting this one, or where your standings right now are in Stable Duel? I'll actually update and look at my Stable Duel.
Yeah, just updated here.
Did it just update? All right. Yeah. So, so SPN still in first place in the $15 game. Keith, you're all the way up to fourth. Uncle Sully's in fifth. So we love to see that. No Need to Call It is in 14th. So Bob's there. And Mia's Majesty really screwed me in that last race. And did not do well. Although I still have 3 horses left, so I can make a Mind That Bird type late charge.
I only have one left
to see.
So
I got Bite the Bullet Bro, Hard West, and Super Caro. I think in both of my stables, maybe. No, I got Bite, and then the other one I Bite the Bullet Bro, Super Caro, and Reasonably Lovely. In my last 2. So
guys, I'll be back in 1 second. Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
very good. And then in the free contest, I don't know what the hell I was doing. I have 4 horses left. I don't even know if I tried to play the first half of the card. I got 4 horses left in that race. So I got Bite the Bullet Bro, Hard West, Super Caro, and Reasonably Lovely.
Those are good
2
ones.
races. So yeah, I know. That's one. So this is another thing I do where sometimes I build my stable starting with the first race and going to the last race, and other times I build my stable starting at the last race and going to the first race, and it results in me building slightly different stables, mainly because I don't know, I just do, because I'm like, oh, it's an $8,000 horse in the last race, sure, I'll use that. Whereas like if I build it from the beginning to the end, I'm like, I have $1,000 left, I have to use who am I going to get in this last race? So it's it can be a little funny like that sometimes. So see we got some different Joe Palmentieri's losing the late daily double, the 5 over the 2-4-10. See Right at the Wire is going 3-8 box there, and we got Kinchman going with a 6 all 3 there. I imagine a try. So I need to get out more. Yes, I know I need to get out more. My social life is playing horses and talking to my 17-year-old dog who does not talk back to me. And so, yeah, that's my social life.
You don't need to worry until they start talking back.
Yeah, right. That's a great piece of advice, Jessica. Thank you for making me feel better. So I agree. And it was funny when I was just a bit of personal thing. When I was interviewing with Naira, during the one interview, they were like, how do you put out all this content? And I was like, well, I'm single and I just have an old dog and I don't really have much of a life. So I just do horse racing as soon as I get home from work. And I'm like, yeah, it's easy when you don't have any other obligations in life. Like, oh yeah, sure. I'll do work. That's the fun part of my life. But anyway, meanwhile, I hear about like Colin's kids like ruining the house, and Rory coming over with a hockey stick trying to knock the laptop down during the Kentucky Derby, and all sorts of fun stuff. So.
Sickness, kids bring home all the sicknesses in the world. You can add that one to the list.
They do. So,
I've seen Paddington 2 probably more times than everybody in this chat combined.
What you need to do is start introducing your children to the horse Paddington. And then we need to, this is real Paddington. So, all right,
Matt, we need your Ice Cold Classic High Five.
Oh yeah, Ice Cold Classic High Five is the 63851. There you go, 63851. All right. With that being said, Jessica, I'll turn it over to you to turn the volume on for Kurt on the call. So as we get ready for race number 6. By the way, shout out to everybody who's hanging out with us. Press that like button.
Spot.
So getting loaded in here.
9-5 favorite, Hard West. Walks right in.
Let's go 3. Come on. One time.
One time.
Nice break.
Break now goes in.
All right. Let's get this going.
I'm obligated to root for the 1 here for my
To the
dad's
far
stable,
outside,
Oh,
right
okay.
which is
All right, cool.
an interesting pick.
Shout out
Just
to
2
Mr.
left to load.
Tugwell. Excellent.
Good luck, Dad.
I'm back.
Nice.
Come on, long shots. Oh no. Oh no.
Crowning Island.
Oh, they loaded the inside horse at last. Okay, that's interesting.
And just waiting on
That's
Fight
good.
the Bullet Bro.
How did they load the horses for this race? Like the 1 and 3 came in last? Like, what are we doing? All right.
They're all set. They're at the post.
Wonder if
Okay.
they're
As Fight the Bullet
Notorious or
Bro
something.
backs away.
Oh, yeah, that's
All right,
possible.
all right.
Yeah.
Last in, first out. Hopefully here. That's good.
Yeah.
Now he's
Yeah.
in.
Early voting. Yeah.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
3 is certainly acting like
No,
it
he's
might
not.
He's almost in.
Please. Here we go.
might be a bit of a problem child here.
Is this the 3 that's the problem?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
he's because he's going to
51%
run out of
of
this.
stables.
He's going to
Yeah.
run out of this gate as soon as it gets open.
Extra help from the gate crew.
I'm sure.
Oh, God.
Imagine
Now
if you're the
he's
trainer.
He's
Yeah.
in. He's in. He's in. We're good. Nobody's
Going
getting
for 3 in
scratched.
a row.
And they're off.
All right.
From the middle, Casalsa shows some good early speed with Lucky Break in between horses. 3 wide, ride 'em in the fray early. Hard West is stalking those 3. Club Champ back on the rail in 5th. Browning Island 6 off of it in 6th to his outside. That's gonna be Like the Bullet Bro and the early trailer. Ends a Rebel. 23
Big move.
seconds, the opening quarter.
Rydom
Now
looking good.
Rydom takes
Come
over
on,
as
3.
the leader.
Come on,
Hard
3.
West
Chase the
Come on,
6.
3.
moves up to engage with Bite the Bullet Bro with a 3 wide move.
And there goes the
Champ,
swing out to
the rail
Winnipeg.
is
Into the highway.
All right.
And Club
Don't-
Champ now takes over. A short lead by a half a length in between
Look at that one.
horses.
Bite the Bullet
Rydom,
Bro.
Run.
West 3 wide. It's Rydom.
Oh.
Club Champ on the rail. Club Champ responds and is going to win it.
There you go.
Second's going to be Rydom. Third, Hard West. And 4th, Browning Island.
There's
All right.
your
Anybody
one
have
for
that
4th.
one?
The alliteration.
So who had? Yeah, the alliteration wins for Colin, and Club Champ for Jared Brown and Jorge Carreno.
Yeah.
This is a horse that finished 3rd last time out, beaten by
Yeah.
4.5 lengths by Bite
Yeah,
the
we
Bullet
talked
Pro.
about this horse.
And had some nice race. Had a really big race last year at Assiniboia to close out the meet.
Back class.
Yeah, back hashtag black class. But that was also a gate to wire win, and we saw the horse come from well off the pace here a little bit. So and again, the inability for anybody to stay anywhere near the rail just absolutely crushes it. I mean, I just good Lord, just to the parking lot.
Yeah,
Absolutely
we're like
not.
in the highway. I was saying that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Tim.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Tim.
you're-
They do.
You know.
I mean
I-
that the sick. I thought Hard West was going to win for sure, and then
Yeah.
it was carried out wide, and then Bite the Bullet Bro came on, and then kind of flattened late, but that was
and he got pushed
Most
out even
wide
wider
I've
because
seen.
he was. Yeah, it was
Yep.
nuts.
it
So
wasn't the
Spicer
the
Cup
greatest
would be
result.
right at home here.
I mean, nobody protects the rail up here. I mean, just nobody. And that is an interesting point. I don't know if Jessica, if you made it or I forget, somebody made it in the maiden
Shiver.
race. That the
Shiver,
Shiver
baby.
actually handled the turn
Yeah,
really well.
Yeah, it's gone. Yeah.
and
Yeah. It's
so-
gone. Yeah.
It's like me and
Like-
go-karts with my son.
Right.
That's great.
Yeah, just wild. So, yeah, but that was an interesting one. It was also interesting to see Bite the Bullet Bro come from off the pace. I mean, was really far
Yeah.
back early and
Yeah,
then made
yeah.
a kind of a little bit of a move around the turn. Keith, as you said, kind of flattened out a little bit, but made a nice run from
Yep.
off the pace. And because I thought day was over as soon as I saw where he broke, and I was like, oh,
Right.
he's going to pack it in. Like this horse that kind of needs the lead, and kind of showed a little bit of a different dimension. Even though he finished fourth, it was a close up fourth, and so nice effort. Ride him,
Good effort.
nice effort there from the 8 as well. But ultimately, the 2 club champ gets the job done.
Yeah, Carino.
Carino's getting. He saw Antonio starting to stack up a couple wins and said, "Wait a second, I got to start trying to catch up again in the jockeys total." So,
you got Carino and Brown at 8-1 is very rare.
Yeah, you're right. You don't see that often. I mean, those 2 win at a 34% clip and are, kind of a dynamic duo. And it feels like they're only getting better as this meet's going on. So, they're real strong here in as we wrapped up race number 6. Looks like the results are about to become official if they aren't already. But, so this is so that was a little bit of obviously a surprising result, but I will say the number 5 did not run well at all. The New York Invader.
The Aqueduct Shipper,
Yeah, kind of flashed a little bit of speed and then really, I mean, that might just be one who needs a race or two. We talked about the work tab. And, might just need a little bit of time. So we'll see. But well, listen, let's head on to the 7th and final race in the card, which is the stakes race. $50,000 stakes race, the Jack Hardy Stakes. The purse is $50,000. Like I said, 7.5 furlongs for 3-year-old fillies, and there's obviously a big horse in this race that a lot of us like because we like the trainer a lot, Marvin Buffalo. But Spittin' Kitten, who has won 3 in a row, spanning back to earlier this year at Turf Paradise, and then has come up and won 2 stakes races at Assiniboia. You also have Super Caro, who's finished second in those 2 stakes races. And you have a couple of other horses I think are really interesting. But Sean, I'll start with you. Where did you go in this race?
I went with a Kitten.
There you go.
I just thought it was the best horse. I'm hoping that the other horse can be just Zandon, who just likes to be behind, and we'll just sit comfortably behind in second and just watch his backside one more time. And then I just thought he was the class of the race, and I think it's down to those 2. Jess's horse is very interesting. I think the horse, even though it's coming out of a claiming race, I think that could be a very valuable long shot play here. But I just thought the 2 favorites, on paper, were just strong.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Jess, why don't you talk a little bit about that long shot you like, the number 8 Forever Lights, if I'm not mistaken, for Jerry Gorno?
Yeah, this was another one who, just like earlier in the card, the which 7 horse was that? Unusual Account. Yeah. This is a horse who is ranked second in the Thor Manager projected speed rating behind the favorite Spittin' Kitten. It certainly looks like the trainer Jerry Gorno was like claiming horses for this spot. He's got 3 of them in here off the claim coming in. And this horse just fits on speed figures here. Coming out from Lone Star, and has some quick races there. And I just thought that this horse seems like one who will be forwardly placed, tactically positioned, and just fits at a good price. So this was my stable duel horse in here.
I like this.
In the 2.
Yeah, and I think the thing that I also look at is this horse attracted some nice jockeys down at Lone Star. It got Lane Luzzy, it got Rene Diaz, it got Gongalves. I mean, those are good jockeys, and that's something I usually pay attention to as well. It's like what caliber of jockey is kind of on some of these horses when they come in, and you see, and whenever Lane Luzzy's on a horse down in Texas, that's a horse you got to take seriously for sure. So that's one I was like. But it's interesting. This was one where I like Spittin' Kitten. I love Marvin Buffalo. But I think tonight Super Caro turns the tables. I think going longer is going to be the trick. This horse likes to close and likes to come from the back. And I think that just these sprints didn't give the horse enough distance to do that. This is a horse that won twice over the turf, or the last 3 times over the turf at Tampa, going 2 turns. So I think going 2 turns, getting that, what this is going to be 7.5 furlongs. I think tonight's the night it turns the tables a little bit, but hard to root against Spit and Kitten though in this spot. But Keith, where did you go in this race?
Yeah, you know what? I was looking at a price of. I like some of those other horses you guys mentioned, but I actually was looking at the number 6, Reasonably Lovely, and I just thought this horse finished well. Last race, and I actually watched the replay. It was just like the comment says, it was really like 6 wide and bumped and had a brutal trip, and I think we'll appreciate the distance. And this horse also comes out of I put in this comment here, sneaky good races at Tampa. And just went this distance before and has run well in the money in those Tampa races. And I just thought it was actually the favorite last time, and it looks like just missed at the wire. So I just thought at a price, I was just going to comment that for some reason the previous race hasn't gone official yet, so we don't have current prices. But I thought the 6 was interested at a price, and then. I like Spit and Kitten. I just think this horse has just done nothing wrong. I know it's the stretch out, but dominating. Drew off and held well. It seems like this horse actually could have the stamina to stretch out. And, has good pedigree, and actually the trainer's hitting at 30%. So that 2 is going to be tough. And then I like your 4 though, Super Caro. I also looked at those turf races at Tampa, and I don't know how the track, tonight the track is kind of playing both ways, I would say, kind of, some off the pace winners and some up front. So I know that 4 will be rolling late. I just didn't know if it would, get up in time, but the last race is definitely, running second there in the stake. So I think it'll be good shot to, last race sometimes can cause chaos. So I went with the 6.
Yeah. So we finally do have the official results here in race number 6. So Club Champ pays $18.80 to win. Rydom pays $4.40 to place. Hard West plays $2.20 to show. Browning Island, Bite the Bullet Bro. Complete your super high 5. The $1 exacta pays $38. The $1 try pays $100. The $1 super pays something, and the $1 pick 3 pays $192, 25. So and the $1 super high 5 pays $3,738, and the $1 super pays $796. So thank you for pulling that back up now that it's gone official. Colin, I was stalling and kind of wanted to go to you last, but they were taking so long for the other race to become official. They didn't start showing the paddock. And so I was going to wait until the paddock pick and the sleepy time pick was ready. But since you can't rely on that handicapping angle yet, where did you go in this race from straight up handicapping standpoint?
Yeah, you guys are all getting way too cute here. I built my stables around this race because I felt really confident that it's a 2-horse race. And you talked about the way that they've set up tonight. Well, I see it setting up that way. Let the 2 go, let the 4 sit off, and the 2 of them are going to blow this field away. So 2-4. I'm hoping for 100 points in my stable duel to at least maybe catch up to get the money. The last race kind of hurt me. But everything I looked at, all right, so I did my own handicapping. It was 2-4, and those are tough to, decide between the 2. Take a shot, key one of them. If you're going to do an exact or a try, you can't kind of put them both on top from a value. So you got to be more you got to make that choice, which I am not. I'm just picking them both. But let's look at Charting Horse Value. He's great with favorites. 4-2 on top. Let's look at the Brisnet Prime Power numbers. Guess what? 4-2 on top, and they're across the board on most of the numbers that I look at. So that's where I was. I know you don't want to give out shock, and but I just started as a 2-horse race, and I literally started my stable, my $15 stable, with those 2 horses. I know I'm breaking Matt's cardinal rule of don't spend more than how much, Matt? 15.
There's not a hard and fast rule. I usually don't like to spend more than about $12,000 in a race.
So I thought of you when I put them both in, but then I went through the card and I said, well, if there's any time I'm going to do it, this seems like the race that I want to. So I did it, and you'll be right, and I'll be wrong, and maybe
because what I'll say is there were 2 horses that I liked, and that several other people here liked, and I think you could get away. You can get away with this at Assiniboia more than you can in a lot of tracks,
Right.
because Unusual Account and High Rise in the Peg were 2 horses that were very inexpensive, who we all identified as horses that were going to vastly outrun their odds. And you could get those 2 horses for $850 combined. And so that then gives you the freedom. If you want to spend up big on $17,000 in one race, you can do it. And
I had those other 2 as well. So
and so you don't see many tracks that have a 25 to 1 shot that's got a real chance to hit the board, or a 30 to 1 shot that's got a real chance to hit the board. But you do it at Assiniboia because of the field sizes, and God love them, but the morning lines are a little off sometimes too for what the betting's going to be. So that's one to so I think you have that flexibility a little bit more. I just feel like at Assiniboia, where you can go really, really expensive and really, really inexpensive, and you don't need to just sit here and go, oh, I got to pick between like $3,000 to $8,000 horses in every race. Like, no, you can go with like an $11,000 horse and $100 horse, and just do that, and I think that's fine. I
actually have for this race, there were 2 horses that popped out to me on Pedigree, because I wasn't looking at Pedigree for this race.
Yeah.
But 2 of the dams popped off the page at me, because one of them, my sister Caro, I was like, I know I've heard this horse. I know I've looked at this mare before. And I went and I dug into it. And I actually shortlisted for Pedigree at OBS April, Super Caro's younger sister by Collected. So that was a horse that I really liked. And then the 7, Where's the Pumps? I was like, why does the name Preach It jump off the page to me? Why am I? And that's because Preach It produced grade 3 winner Speechify. So again, this is more like a fun fact than anything in races like this. But I thought that was kind of interesting.
Definitely.
To share and note.
Hey guys, I just got a text from my friend Assiniboia. He just said, Kitten looks very, very sleepy, almost comatose. He should be the vet.
I saw you, Colin. I saw you concentrating, Colin, looking at the horses.
Yeah, we're gonna pull the feet up, because we always pull the feet up early so everybody can see what Colin sees. I'll tell you who is not sleepy is the number 4. The number 4 is
not sleepy at all.
4 looks good.
She's on his toes.
Yeah, she looks fantastic. She's doing the little Zenyatta
ready
dance.
to turn the tables.
If you get 3 to 1, wow.
And that's Curtin Stretch's top pick, and she's not sleepy at all. That 9 is just hanging out, but she looks,
there's 2 in the background there that are looking a little quiet.
Wow, what's interesting is the 2 is not in the top 3 for Kurt or Stretch, which is interesting.
They must be worried about the stretch out.
Right, yeah.
But 4.10.6 and 4.7.6.
There's your 7,
and the 10 Diamond Grand, that's another Jerry Gorno horse that just got trained last time out, or claimed last time out. And it's got Neville Stevenson up on the mount, and that's one who's also coming out of Lone Star, and has had some nice jockeys on that one too, and has won 2 of the last 3, and the only time it didn't win was the second, going 7 furlongs. So that one might be very well intended for this particular race. I do worry about those far outside post positions sometimes at Assiniboia on the 2 turns, but breaking from the 10 post. And it's interesting that Gorno's 3 horses are 8, 9, 10 that he drew the far outside with all 3 of his. So I don't know if that was like the penalty for like, you get 3 horses, but we're putting you all the way outside. So I don't know, but I see people dropping in the comments here, letting them know what's going on. I know Tim Hughes is providing some analysis. He believes the 10 is a little bit sleepy. The Tim Me is going with the 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 try box.
Even
nice.
And based outdoors, who's always pretty sharp, I think. He always seems to have the right sort of picks. He's going with the 1, 5, 8, 10 try box. So going with a big, he's gone with some big prices before and done well. So he's going ashes to ashes at a huge price at 18-1. This is a horse that is still a maiden, actually, but nearly won. Nearly won last time out though. So and it has coming out of that Tampa circuit as well. So going with some bombs there. But Colin, any updates on the sleepy time selections?
I think it's coming through.
Okay. Not gonna rush it.
I think we're getting close.
All right. We're getting close on a sleepy time selection, but again, we're not going to rush it. We might need to see them come out on the track.
It's nice because that was behind the bush, like
very,
a very nice flower behind.
Very infamously, all-terrain Jane really perked up when she got onto the it does look like it onto the track. So you never know. We got what is. Sometimes
it's a big field and it's going to be interesting. I mean, like you said, Colin, I mean, it looks like on paper it could be a 2-horse race, but you never know. I mean, one of these horses, especially if the 2 can't get the distance, you could have another horse step up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Come running late. That's where I like Reasonably Lovely. I thought was interesting, but Jess, you make a good argument for the 8 as well in this spot, who should sit a useful trip. Because that horse can kind of stalk and doesn't need to come from too far back, which I like. Mm-hmm. That's and gets Cumberbatch up, who I always like as a jockey as well. So, a lot of things to like there. But they're now riders are up. They're making their way out to the track, and we're getting really close to the sleepy time pick. I
wish we had the. You know what I need to really top off this segment is that noise when they make the NFL draft. The pick is in and it goes done.
Yeah.
You are on deck.
That would be good. You need to
somehow work on that.
Yeah, pull that audio and then just start playing that before the sleepy time picks. But. Yeah, you just Colin. You just let us know when you're ready for the sleepy time pick, and I'll turn it over to you because I know you're gonna have the graphic. So I'll wait until I see that up.
Sounds good.
So, but they got him out here, and let's see. Bobby D is going 2-6 over the 4-10. I mean, those certainly seem to be the favorite horses, and right now the 2 Spittin' Kitten is your 6-5 favorite, followed by Super Caro at 5-2. Those 2 have taken all the money. Basically, so if you think you can get around those 2, you're going to get a price. The 6 and 7 are the next closest, with Reasonably Lovely and Where's the Pumps that Jessica talked about from a pedigree standpoint, 8 and 9-1 respectively for those 2 horses, and everyone else is double-digit odds, including the 10, who is 11-1. And I think that's an interesting horse, but again, post position might be difficult for that one. So. And, we haven't, here's a name. He's up on the screen right now. We've not said tonight, Demario Bino. Yeah. Maybe this is the race he brings home the bomb because, he does have a tendency to bring home bombs in the nightcaps. So
that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. But, and he's been a little bit, Sean, I don't know. Do you know where he rode before or where he's been riding prior to coming? Because I don't remember him last year at Assiniboia.
No. He and his brother, who's now riding at Woodbine.
Yeah.
Deshaun Bino. I think they're both from originally either Jamaica or Barbados, one of the 2, and they've come up. So I think this is kind of their Canada curtain call, kind of their debut. They seem to be right. Both seem to be riding well. So
yeah.
There you go.
Oh, there it is. All right, I love it.
With the 5th pick in the sleepy draft.
All right.
Colin selects.
Yeah.
Here we go. But first, as a Trust the Prophets 11:25 tradition for Assiniboia Downs Monday Night Lights, before we can get to the sleepy time pick, we need to bring in the VIP fan of the night. And Assiniboia Downs, whenever you joke about getting hammered or are hammered based on the 6, you're probably going to get a good shot of winning in the chat. So our VIP fan of the night is Tim Me. So congratulations to Tim Me.
Nice.
Tim Me, great comment in the chat tonight.
And now for the Sleepy Time fade pick is going to be
7.
The number 7. Where's the Pumps? Who has really looked quite sluggish. I'm sorry, Jessica. I know you've got a good pedigree angle there for me, but he looks more like the horse on the left than the winning horse tonight. So number 7.
It's funny because you had that off during the post parade as the 7 passed by, and I did not think he looked very sleepy at all in the post parade.
Oh, here we go.
Got it.
Here we go.
And by the way, Shoddy already in the comments.
Hammer the 7.
So
hammer.
Somebody just placed a huge bet on the 7.
Yeah.
Jessica.
Didn't you hear? He's the Sleepy Time pick.
I love it. I love
Send
it.
it in.
I said to Colin he could start selling the pick on Twitter and he would get subscribers. That's funny.
So we got
Macaro, the best turned out.
in Opa. Good luck with the picks there in Opa. I like the exacta box. Sheets player is going deep on the 7. Basil faulty, so we should unload on the 7. Hey, if the last 2 weeks is any indication, yes, but technically no.
Price is dropping.
So the price on the 7 is at 9-1 currently.
We're moving the needle.
We're moving the needle here. I'll go back up to 10, so floating around a little bit. Pretty consistent, and those 2 favorites are, as Colin pointed out when we were talking about real handicapping, do appear to be just kind of the heads and shoulders, the class of the field. But like you guys said, like the stretch out is a question mark, pace can be a question mark, and there can be some variables that make things a little bit more difficult for those 2. So you never know. And we're getting into the classic high 5. I see the 9 is carrying 4 pounds over, the 10 is carrying 6 pounds over.
Fun night last night.
So yeah exactly. Yeah. So here we go.
Yeah, it looks like Stable Duel updated, so it's
all right,
pretty interesting. Yeah.
Okay, so let's see.
I'm out of horses, but I'm right there. I hope to stay in the money, but we'll see.
All right, so we got the Stable Duel is up. Uncle Sully is in 2nd. Each and Every Stride in 3rd. SP Nation in 4th. The chat is representing well. Bob, with no need to call it, is in 8th right now. Damabel's in 14th. And Hardspun 77's in 28th. I'm hanging out in 30th and 40th. But my 40th one, hey, I still got 2 picks in that one, so you never know. It could make a little bit of a run. But there we go. And in the free ride, I don't know if anybody is taking a look at the free ride real quick.
Got Keith in 2nd.
Hoping to hold on. Thanks.
Yeah,
Sean in 9th.
there.
Yeah, I don't have any
there we go.
left,
Sean in
so,
9th. Where is Mr. Tugwell? Where's your dad?
He
Jessica?
dropped down to 30th. He had the 5 in the last race, like quite a few people did.
Yeah,
no, that was his first time. Wow.
Yeah.
No, it's a great debut, though. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, not as good as my Stable Duel.
There's no familial competition or anything. Nobody's keeping track of this stuff.
You guys are good first time starters.
Yeah. This reminds me of a friend of mine whose dad goes on a lot of hikes, and he's her dad's probably like 78 years old, 78, 79, but he's still super active, goes on a lot of hikes. My friend likes to go on a lot of hikes too, and she'll text him, and what's funny is she uses him as motivation to go on hikes. He doesn't realize that he's in a competition with her, but in her mind, they're in a competition with each other. And so she will text him on a Saturday. She's like, hey, just got done with an 8-mile hike in North Carolina, a state park. And he's like, oh yeah, I did 10 miles this morning. And he always manages to just like very blasé, like just like always beats it. And again, like he does not realize this is a competition. Only she does. Funny. And he always like manages to go longer. So always makes me laugh.
That's
when I think of their relationship. But yeah. But here we go. We got curtain stretch, as we said, is going 4. Kurt's going 4.10.6. Stretch going 4.7.6. My super high 5 is going to be 4 6, 7, 2, 10. There you go. That's my
ice cold. It's good.
Ice cold.
Love it.
Only way to do it. Andre Reed 3000, ice cold.
That's it.
From back in the day, people remember that album.
Yep.
But anyway, I see Greg. I see is in the chat says the one looks great on the track. Now I have not paid too much attention, to be honest, of how the ones looked. But just said in terms of the coat and that sort of thing. But yeah, so we'll see. Would they need that? Trusty, thank you. I remember music from the early 2000s. Yes, I am old. I'm in fact 42. I am sorry that I referenced an Outcast reference there. And so just incredibly old. But I still have a full head of hair despite wearing a cap. So I'm doing all right there. The Bay Area music, the jock is 6 pounds over. That can't be a good career move. Yeah. I hear you on that. That's not great. That's a little surprising from Neville, who's a pretty professional jockey.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we just had a big Canada day last week and had a hard time working it off. But they're getting them loaded in here. Listen, good luck. Let us know what you need. Let us know if anybody's still alive in the pick 4, pick 5, pick 3s. Let us know what you're alive to, so we can root for you. So we can try to get that ticket home for you. If anybody's still alive in any of those pick sequences, let us know in the chat. We'd love to root you home tonight to close things out. But they're starting to get them in there, and certainly get them loaded in. Yeah.
She moves in.
The 7 wins by 5.
That's
the final prediction.
If the 7 wins, we're just going to cut the stream off immediately. Like I don't know, there's nothing that's going to be better. Like if the 7 wins, we're just going straight to the.
I'm just going to be following the 7 the whole race.
Goes in.
It's great.
Tim Me following up his comment. Tim Me says, "I'm alive to a box of wine."
Is
I love it. So, all right.
Reasonably Lovely is next.
There's some really big pick 4 payouts on some of these big prices if they hit.
Where's the pumps goes in?
Tim, I'm alive to the 2 in the pick 1. Great comment.
That's awesome.
I'm alive in the pick 1 a lot
Forever
too.
Lights is in. Just 2 left to load.
All right.
Governor Ann. And just waiting on Diamond Grand to the outside.
Absolutely winning.
Reasonably Lovely, a little fractious in the gate. They're at the post. And they're off in the Jack Hardy Stakes. Spittin' Kitten, as expected, goes out and grabs the early lead by 2.
Right?
Where's the pumps? Hot on her heels in second. On the rail, Ashes to Ashes in third. Settled in between horses, Super Carol. In a good position to the outside, Diamond Grand. Another half length back on the inside, I Am Mila with Governor Ann. And your 2 trailers are going to be the Comrie Rule and Reasonably Lovely. The opening quarter, 24 seconds. And it's Spittin' Kitten with Where's the Pumps. Now moving alongside her through a half.
This is going to be awesome. Oh, no. Oh, no.
It's not meant to be.
A gap of 5 lengths back. Diamond Grand eating into their lead. Super Carol. In between horses, I Am Mila still right up there. And Forever Lights. They hit the head of the lane. And Spittin' Kitten reasserts herself by 5.
Come on,
she
girl.
is for real.
Come on, girl.
And she's turning it on. Spittin' draws off to win by 7. Super Carol, the rally for second. Third to Reasonably Lovely. Fourth, Where's the Pumps? And 5th, the Diamond Grand.
There it is. Wow. What an effort from Spittin' Kitten.
That was impressive.
That
But
was
all the doubters,
super
yeah,
duper impressive. I mean, handled it and faced legitimate pressure from the number 7. Where's the pumps? In terms of just not, just being right up next to her the whole, right up next to her the whole time. And I mean, just turned on the jets. I mean, coming
seriously.
through home. I mean, there was no fatigue there at all.
No,
this horse just flew coming for home, and wow. What an effort there from
6 came in third. Wow.
Yeah, so what an effort there from Spit and Kitten getting the job done, winning winning the Jack Handy Stakes, $50,000. So for trainer Marvin Buffalo, that is now his amazingly 8th win in 17 starts.
That's amazing.
At Assiniboia this meet. He is absolutely crushing it right now. There,
the Jamie Ness of Assiniboia Downs.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's just absolutely crushing it. And another win for Sven Ballerup, who is just that's his jockey, and just keeps getting wins. So, wild, great effort there. Congratulations to all the connections.
Awesome.
And so I by the way, I see the comments. Thank you for the very nice words. Everyone, Jimmy and Frank, I saw your comments there. Thank you very much. And
I'll jump in too, Matt, and just say, you and Sean were the first 2 guys on my show when I started to try and do this, and you guys both gave me the confidence and were more than friendly. And what you see on these streams is what you get from Matt behind the scenes. He's a really good person. He's been completely supportive of me and obviously of Sarah, who we see on the TV stations now, and he's obviously extremely knowledgeable. But most of all, you're just a great person, and I hope the last 10 months we've worked together, I will consider you a lifelong horse racing friend from the short time we've spent in both the chat and on these streams and hanging out afterwards, and I cannot wait to see you up at the Whitney. So thank you for all you've done for this channel. Thank you for all your support of me. And we will be there harassing you and throwing stuff at you to make videos on Whitney Day.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for the very kind words, Colin. That means a lot. And I was
supposed to put my hat on for that. That's why I brought the hat.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Nice.
No, what I will say is
nice.
I cannot thank all of you enough. The community that has surrounded me in horse racing could not have been more supportive, kinder, and more encouraging of the kind of ideas that I try to do and what I try to do. And I just appreciate everybody's kind words, their encouragement, their feedback, all of those things. I cannot thank everybody enough. I mean, all of you are such good friends of mine, even though I've not met any of you in person, but you are among my closest friends, and I mean that sincerely. And so, that's true. I met Sean. Yeah, I've met Sean a couple of times actually. But
that was memorable.
It was memorable. I know. I forgot. Yeah, God, last year Pennsylvania Derby. I feel bad.
You're gonna hate me in person,
but it's been I'm so used to talking to people I've never met before, Sean. That's the issue. Because it's funny because like I talk to Barry and Gino every Friday. I've never met either of them.
Yeah.
And so but it's been fun. It's been real. And doing these Assiniboia Monday nights has been an absolute blast. Doing the live streams on Kentucky Derby Day, on Belmont Day, on Royal Ascot was so much fun with everybody. And it's just been awesome. Everybody in the comments too could not have been, appreciate everybody's comments as well. But I got to close it out the only way I know how, and that is to say Spit and Kitten pays $570 to win. Super Caro pays $260 to place. Reasonably Lovely $310 to show. Where's the Pumps and Super and Diamond Grand close out the super high 5. The $1 exacta pays $645. The $1 try $1805. The $1 super $6220. And the jackpot 6-5 carryover pick 5 carryover is now up to $353,000.
Wow.
So folks, we got to play next week. That's for sure.
Yeah,
and the next time. So the $1 pick 3 is $210. The $1 pick 4 is $675. Well, I appreciate everybody's kind words. Really do. And I hope I wish everybody all the best. And I hope everybody comes and sees me up at Saratoga this summer.
Yes.
And or wherever, because I'll be at other tracks too. I mean, I'll probably be down at Parks for Pennsylvania Derby Day, because you can't drag me away from there.
Nice.
But yeah, if you're up at Saratoga this summer, you see me wandering around, please say hi, reach out to me on social media so we can make sure to meet up, things like that. Love to meet all of you. So really great. So thank you again so much. I'm going to be in the chat hanging out with Shoddy and the other trolls next week, making comments with Dennis Trusty, going back and forth, having a good time. So listen, folks, until next time, my name is Matthew DeSantis. For Jessica, Keith, Sean, and Colin, have a great and profitable day at the races. And remember, folks, it's now post time.